where we can get out. So I know what it's like, and I appreciate that. But unfortunately, when it's uncontrolled, unfettered, there's a whole bunch of jihadis who are trying to get in. There's a whole bunch of people who are going to come, and then in a few years or in a short period of time, they're going to fucking kill themselves, blow themselves up in the streets, or run people over with vans, or stab people over, in public places. There are literally people with those mindsets that. So if you can't have any kind of control, if you have no control over this, you're gonna get that. Oh, are we live?
Yep, you got it.
Oh
It was
shit!
a good
What's
rant you
going
were
on
in the
there?
middle of. Although there was no context, so
There was no
it's
context.
impassioned nothing to people.
Thus, this will mean nothing to you
Do
all.
you see what it looks like? It looks so pretty.
Let me see. Let me see.
I'm just like,
Yeah.
I need you to see the aesthetic of this.
Oh, it does. Oh, it looks so pretty. Oh, wow! I love the background. You did my background justice.
Yeah, oh
I
yeah.
thank you, my dear. I thank you. I spank you very much.
Absolutely.
You did it. You did it well.
Look at our
If you
cool ass
hold,
first of all, our cool ass
I know.
glasses. Let's acknowledge
I know.
those.
First of all,
We make our
yes,
own
yes, let's
fucking rules.
acknowledge
We
it.
wear sunglasses whenever the fuck
Uh,
we want.
I love it. But one thing I will say, if you click on my picture, my image,
Mm-hmm.
as in my projection, and if you hold the Alt key down and pull on the left and the right, you will see
Oh,
that it
see,
will.
the thing is, the way that I am doing this from Discord is it actually captures both as one image, so it's not separate
Ah,
from mine.
oh, I see, I see, I see.
Yeah,
So if you bring it down, it will shrink your end as
you
well.
got
Ah,
it.
ha, ha, ha.
You got it. This is a professional
Interesting.
fucking stream, okay?
This is some serious
We're
shit going on
using
here.
top-notch technology, and
I'm with you.
we are experts.
That's how that works. That's how you do. That's why we're doing like the way we are. Like I should have done my streams with you on Discord as well. That way we could have both be side by side the way like you've got it now.
Yeah,
Whilst
but
with
you have
mine,
everything set up and stuff for yours. Oh my god,
I
this bite
do.
on my lip is just growing. I can just feel it. Oh, oh
It's
my
okay. You
god.
look like you've just had Botox or some kind of collagen injection into
I
your
don't
lips.
need that shit.
That's what
Let's
we
just
go.
make that
We
very
go with.
clear.
Well, it's either that or herpes. So it's entirely up to you. You pick.
There has been
you
no
you
dick in my
you
life,
pick.
so
You pick the. You pick the affliction that you want to go with here.
well, fine. I guess it's
Which one you
herpes.
prefer?
We'll
I'm
just call
going
it
with collagen
herpes.
injection here. Yeah, you're going with herpes.
I prefer herpes to collagen injection. I think
Holy shit!
that stuff is just everybody has the herpes virus in their fucking system, you know what I mean? Some people just
Yeah, yeah.
it never expresses itself and some people it
I don't know
does.
why it happens to women more than it does to men. Because women get cold sores
Because we
much
eat
more
dick.
often.
Duh. You already know that answer.
That might that's it then. There you go.
I
Yeah,
mean,
but
you could get it from mouth to mouth transfer too. I don't know.
yeah.
Maybe women are more susceptible to it for who knows what reason. Could be
Mm,
any reason, a number of reasons.
that's I just thought maybe that's because women, I don't know, biological chemical things.
It's
But
always
okay,
biological chemical
you
things,
eat dick.
Banksy.
You eat dick. The eating dick part makes so much more sense now.
Well, you know.
Never quite thought of it that way.
So,
So if I see a lady with a cold sore on her lips, I'm like, how was that
oh, you're
dick? Did
cool.
you enjoy the dick recently?
Oh, you're cool. I might want to get to know you actually.
Yes, there you go. That's right. Yes.
In your case.
You're my kind of gal. How you doing?
Just give it a few days. I'll be back. Hopefully it'll be gone by then. You can get some Abreva
So
at the store. It's over the
yeah,
counter.
yeah.
No problem. You know how many times I've seen that fucking commercial? Oh my god.
Oh, is it? What is it? That the commercial for the cream? Is it a cream or what
Yeah, it's like a
commercial?
cold sore little like cream.
Yeah. We get that Bonjela. There's something called Bonjela where you put it on and yeah, it does a thing. But it's meant to be for mouth ulcers, actually. That one.
No.
Anyway, so,
Very fun conversation right now.
it is. It is. We've got, okay. You lead. What was it that you were gonna go
I was
with?
going to ask you a question actually. So, we talk
Mhm.
so much about, politics and stuff. What do you do on your free time? Like, what are your hobbies? Because I think that's what people are lacking. I think people lack actual hobbies. that they do or
Yeah.
engage in often as a routine, whether it's like, I don't know, TV, not
Mm.
that that's the greatest, or learning to do something new. What is
The
your
weird,
thing?
yeah, the weird thing is, because I'm so paranoid and guarded when it comes to the internet and the way the things I say or the things I do, especially because I have such a wonderful fan base of Muslims who want to kill me,
Oh yeah.
that I don't talk about myself as much as in
Ah.
myself, like my hobbies outside of messing around on the internet. It's true. When you just asked me that question, I kind of, it all dawned on me that I don't really share. Like, you share a lot of your life with your audience.
You know what? It's
You
not
know,
as much as you
they've
would
seen
think,
your
though.
work.
It's not as much
It's
as
not
you
a
would think.
no, no, but you. I mean, of course, I'm saying, in comparison to me, shall
Oh
we
yeah,
say,
for sure. Yeah,
you
relative.
have your yeah,
Sorry.
oh yeah, relatively speaking, you show your work, you show your work colleagues, you share your guitar playing hobby or music creation. There's a lot of you that you put
Yeah,
into
that's true.
your
Okay, you're
channel and
right. I
your
stand
social
corrected,
media.
Banksy. I'm
No,
sorry.
but for me, no, but for me, when you asked that question, it just dawned on me. I don't put a lot of me, as in, it is me
Yeah,
because I'm
yeah.
talking about politics that I'm, or social issues that I'm interested in or that I'm in, but it's not me as in just hang out with Banksy kind of a thing. I'm not doing a vlog. I'm not really just hanging out and showing my audience what I do outside of when I sit in front, because I see it as a very, I take a very sort of regimental. This is a TV show, concept, attitude towards my show. It's not like I'm just sitting and hanging out with mates. This is a show. I have a prescribed set of things I want to do. There's a set time limit to what I want to do things in, and I want to have this, and I want to have that, and I want to cover this. So, it's all really, really like prescriptive. And it's true. I don't. I mean, sure, I try to dabble in the guitar once in a while, but to be honest with you, I'm terrible. So there's no way I'm showing my audience that, uh, because it just sounds horrific. It's like two people trying to choke a cat
Oh my gosh. How
simultaneously.
did we get here?
Yeah.
How
So
long you
I
been playing
just,
for, if you don't mind my asking?
oh, I mean, I had it when I was a child, but I don't really practice. So, and the problem with the guitar is, it's not only that if you don't practice, you don't get better, you get worse.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
actually, what's it called? Uh,
Regress.
regress. Yeah, yeah. So this is a terrible thing with that instrument. Is It's not like riding a bike. You ride. I learned how to roller skate and then later rollerblade when I was like 14. Never forgot it. No matter how old I get, no matter how fat I get, no matter how messed up my body gets, the roller skating thing is still there.
Yeah.
It doesn't change. Bicycle the same, but guitar, no. Guitar is you forget everything, and then you have to kind of almost go back to the basics again. And so that's my problem. I don't practice. I should practice at least an hour a day or an hour every few days, but nothing,
Half an hour
nothing.
a
Sometimes
day
I
too.
yeah, sometimes I haven't picked up my guitar 3 months, 4 months ago. Last time I even touched it. Sometimes 2 years goes by and I don't even look at it.
Oh
Dust
wow.
just gathers and it just looks like crap. And then I have to like completely clean it out and change all the strings because the strings rust.
Yeah,
The
yes
metal
they do.
steel strings, right? I've literally had a guitar have its strings rust on me. That's how long I don't touch it. So it's terrible.
Keep it in the
So that's why I
case
don't.
though. It prevents it from
Yeah,
rusting.
yeah, that's the thing. One of them is the acoustic, but the electric is just sitting there
Oh,
because
you've
it
got
looks cool.
two. Very cool.
Well, yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I learned on an acoustic originally. I when I did training,
Yeah.
and then I bought an electric because I thought it would be easier for me to do this cooler stuff on the electric. But again, if you don't practice, you
Like
don't get there.
shred? You
Yeah,
want
I
to
would. I
shred?
wish. I wish I
I
could
want to
shred.
fucking
You know,
shred.
you know what I want? I want to just do some cool blues riffs. That's all I
Oh,
want to
yeah.
work on. I got to work on some. That's
Uh, Yeah,
all I want.
yes.
Just a couple of cool blues riffs. And I went down to shopping. They made me
Yeah.
wear a mask. I said, I can't breathe. Oh God, I'm choking. Floyd.
You've got a vision over here, Banksy. You've got a vision. That's fucking great. You're
Yeah,
so funny.
yeah. So that's what I mean. I like blues, so I should practice some blues riffs.
Yeah.
But
I mean, if that's all
other
you want to
than
know, you could just do that over and
yeah,
over
yeah, I
again.
got it. All I have to do is just practice that a very fairly simple riff. Um, but yeah, bad to the bone. That's it. That's all I need.
That's so cute. Aw.
But yeah, and I mean, that's just one thing. Other things, believe it or not, IT. The thing, this is the reason why geeks are so good at IT. It's not that no one, people can't be good. Anyone can be good at IT. It's just something you do, over and over again until you learn it. Just like anything else, repetition is what makes it good. But geeks spend a lot of their time doing it. This is why, the social outcast tends to be good at IT because it's difficult, it's time consuming, and you have to sacrifice going out with your friends and hanging out with, having girlfriends and doing all those other cool things that other people do in order to be good at IT, because it just takes time. You can't. It's not just some magical thing that you just sort of suddenly acquire. So geeks are good at IT because they have the time. They don't have girlfriends. They don't go out. They don't do drinking. They sit on, their Saturday nights and their Friday nights is either exchanging code with their friends. And I'm not joking. I know
believe
people
you.
who do that. They
I
sit and go,
definitely
dude,
believe you.
yeah, I wrote the 6 script. Check this out.
So cute.
Look at this. Yeah, and also playing, World of Warcraft or online games or whatever they do, and I do that as well from time to time.
Do you game?
We
I
have
never knew you
we have
gamed.
yeah, house party. There's a program called House Party,
Mm.
and me and my mates, we all get on there and we all play. Well, we actually, because we all have different computers, we're not uber. My other friends, unlike me and a handful of other friends, are not uber geeks, so we don't have high powered gaming. Not all of them have high powered gaming machines. They only have regular laptops, so we can't go to like the really advanced games like Call of Duty, World Warfare or whatever, All Out War or whatever it is. We have to play. I don't know if you know something called Counter Strike.
Oh yeah, God.
It's
My
yeah.
first
Oh, you know
boyfriend
Counter
used to
Strike.
play that.
There you go. There you go. We played the old 2000, like early 2000 Counter Strike, because its graphics are so like low level
Yeah.
that we can all play without having problems on our machines, so we don't
Yeah.
get lag and stuff. So yeah, we play that sometimes. Or
You don't want
I
that
mean, I'll be
dreaded
honest.
lag.
Yeah,
I used
yeah,
to play
yeah.
World of Warcraft, so I kind of get this lingo a little bit.
There you go. There you
Just
go. Yeah, I
FYI.
mean, the weird thing is, I never got into World of Warcraft. I never got into World of Warcraft. I never got into Zelda. I never got into what's the other one? Final Fantasy. I
Oh
just
yeah.
didn't. Yeah, I never got into those because I don't. I like a free flow. I like beat 'em ups where I can, free flow like Street Fighter and stuff like that.
Mm.
But these World of Warcraft type games, or at least Final Fantasy, I never really played World of Warcraft. It's like you hit and you get 12 points, and then you have to stand there for the opponent to hit you, and then they get like 4 points knocked out of you, and or whatever stupid shit that is. I can't stand it. It's horrifically
It's pretty
mind
free
numbing for me.
flow. Like when you're dueling with people, that's the only time there's like I think like a go back and forth thing. But usually, if you're fighting opponents, it's all like real time looking. I guess if that's a way to
See, this is the
describe it.
modern stuff. You see, I'm talking about like the PlayStation 2
Oh,
era
sorry, you're
of
talking about Final Fantasy and shit. Yeah, World of
yeah, I'm
Warcraft was
talking
never like that, but Final Fantasy, yes, yeah, for sure.
yeah,
I
I'm
played
with you.
until
I'm with you.
7, and then I just didn't anymore.
I think 7 years of age or 7 a.m.
No, all 7, up to 7, Final Fantasy 7.
Oh, Final Fantasy 7.
Because I
I'm
used
with
to
you.
be a
I'm
big
with you.
console gamer. Like I used to like. I mean, that's kind of like a pretentious thing to say. I used to play a lot of Super Nintendo when I was very young, for like
Nice.
years, and then I got the PlayStation, and I really loved Kingdom Hearts. I don't know if you heard of that game.
Kingdom.
It's
No,
like a
no,
mix
I
of
never.
Final Fantasy and Disney. And
I
you
see.
travel as this character to each like Disney world, and you each like once you beat one, it unlocks the next one, and blah blah
Oh,
blah.
sweet.
Yeah, so there's like an end boss and all that shit, right? And I mean, you can keep leveling up till whatever, and then you max out, and then it's just like, okay, you're whatever. Like it gives you the room to just like fuck around if you just want to hang out and play and beat some shit up, work
Yeah,
out
I
some
gotta
aggression, I
say,
guess.
I did get into those games, the Grand Theft Auto,
Oh yeah,
especially the first one, Vice City, because I love the I used to load up my Vice City game, and just sit in a car and listen to the radio stations.
that's
I'm
great.
not even shitting with you, because there was a guy called Maurice Chavez, and he was on Vice City Radio, talk radio, and he was hilarious. He was just so freaking funny. I used to just sit in the car and just listen to him and just have the
You're
radio
legit
on.
just like living a simulation in
I
that
was.
moment, right? Like,
It was just a brilliant radio station. I just used to just put it on, do other things, but just that's it. That was my radio station, Maurice Chavez, on this fictional radio station,
that's
talk
great.
radio.
It must have been funny if you were sitting in a game
It-
and listening to it.
I'm telling you,
It's
it
like
was
listening to a
brilliant.
podcast, right?
Yeah, yeah. It was talk radio. It was supposed to be like real life talk radio,
Mm-hmm.
except it was created for that game. But the guy, I mean, it looped after a while, because they don't have like an infinite amount of messages and callers. But for the period that you listen to it, it was hilarious. It was just brilliant crap that this guy would come out with.
Yeah.
So yeah, to this very day, I remember talk radio, Vice Radio, sorry, Maurice Chavez. If you
Vice
ever see,
Radio.
yes, you ever get a chance to play Grand Theft Auto Vice City, listen to Maurice Chavez. He's awesome.
There you go. A gaming tip of the day.
There's your tip for life. Mm.
So, okay, you game once in a while. You do IT stuff. You fucking nerds share code
Yeah,
and
nerd
script.
IT. That takes a
Woo!
lot of training. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not joking.
No, I
Sometimes I'm
believe
spending my
you.
days, yeah, learning friggin' Kubernetes and Docker and AWS. On Amazon Web Services. Who the fuck does that in their free time? That is insane. People are sitting around.
You know
Most
who does
people,
that? Banksy autists.
yes. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. These are all real life value, because
Of course, yeah.
these
No,
jobs in
definitely.
these sort of fields are
Mm-hmm.
paying hundreds of thousands of pounds in Britain.
And it's
So I'm
always
not.
going to be
I'm,
like that too, because the way of the
mm,
future is all going to be internet based and digital based and all that kind of
exa-
stuff. So it's a great field to learn
yeah.
about. You know,
Uh,
it has
oh,
utility.
yes. Robert White is writing. Did you wear leg warmers when you rollerbladed?
That would be an awesome sight.
Kiss my ass, Robert. Kiss my ass. You see, this is exactly what Bill Burr said. Bill Burr said the reason roller skating suddenly went out is because one dude said, you look like a fag," and then that's it. The whole of rollerblading industry just came to a standing still, because men would never do it again.
It's so funny. Like I'm actually going rollerblading later today. It's such a fun thing to do. It's kind
It's
of dangerous
awesome.
and scary too. I'm like
Yes.
very afraid because I've had a couple of falls that were just really traumatic when I was young. So
Ah,
it's been challenging for me to get back to the level that I was at when I was younger because I used to figure skate also. So I I had a lot more finesse on skates and on rollerblades, and then I had one horrible fall when I ice skated, and it's just kind of put this fear in me. So like I'm
did,
kind of
did you
like
break?
Bambi learning to walk.
Did you break anything though? Did
No,
you
I
break
didn't
any?
break anything, but I severely stretched and pulled a muscle
Oh,
very quick. Like, and it was right by my knee, and my right
oh,
knee in the winter and shit is like super sensitive now because of
yeah.
it.
Yeah, it never goes away. It never
No.
goes away. I twisted my knee playing football, and the doctor said, it's nothing's broken, but you may have torn both your ligaments on either side of the kneecap, and damaged the cartilage. And I've never had an op because ligaments they don't repair themselves. You have to go to a doctor's, and they have
Yeah.
to do surgery on your knee.
Yes.
So my knee has never been the same since, and this was in 1999
Hmm.
when that happened. So yeah, I can never play football without a knee brace, because if I do, my knee will go again. It just
Ugh.
doesn't have anything holding it. So that's my problem and it messes with your whole sporting life,
Hmm.
because every time you do anything to do with running or turning quickly, it messes it up. Although rollerblading I'm okay with, because rollerblading doesn't put that much stress on side to side. I can turn, and it's not, I don't have to, like, I'm not doing ice hockey or
Yeah,
roller
yeah,
hockey
yeah, of course.
like that. So I'm just rollerblading up and down, which is fine. I can, turn, and I can, go backwards or whatever, and it doesn't put that much stress. But how about you? I take it what are you doing, like pirouettes and shit, and
Well,
like
I tried to,
backflips?
I tried to, I tried to land, I tried to do a triple axel, is what happened. So I was very
Oh,
small, and we were
damn.
learning jumps and stuff. And like I had just watched some sort of skating competition because I really loved it, right? Like it was something that always looked so pretty to me that I wanted to do. And then, I mean, I could do maybe one rotation and land okay. Like it was still kind of wobbly. And then
So,
one
so
day I just felt fucking, when you're a kid, you're not afraid to just say, fuck it, man. I'm going balls deep. I'm going to land after three
go for it.
jumps perfectly. Yeah, no, I didn't. I really
Oh.
fucked up. And I basically landed in the splits. Yeah,
Oh.
it was really bad. And since
Oh.
then I've been really kind of a giant big pussy about like just
Doing
like
it again.
something as basic as rollerblading, because once you start going down hills and all that kind of stuff, you have to be able to stop yourself, and sometimes I'm not good at that because you have to tighten, and you have to like turn your
Yeah.
skate inwards like
Yeah.
this, the front of your skates. And you know, it's not a movement I'm used to doing, so I have to learn how to do it. So I have to like find like bitch ass hills. But if I start speeding and I can't, there's no grass that I can just kind of fucking jump on or something, that I'm a little bit terrified. So
Yeah, yeah. I actually, I mean, where I go is usually Hyde Park in London, which is where Speaker's Corner is. Funnily enough, is where I go.
yeah.
And me and my brothers, we used to go there fairly bit. We haven't been for a few years, but there's just a flat stretch of I don't know, maybe a mile or something,
Hmm.
and you can just go up and down that. Everybody, all the skaters are going up and down it. Now you can go around London. There's actually, like, on a Wednesday night, there's a group that meets up and they go all around London. They've got this circuit, and they stop at
Hmm.
like different pubs. But of course, if you're going on the streets, if you're going all around London, then you're going to deal with hills and uphills, downhills, all of that jazz, and also uneven surfaces as well, because the roads are just messed up.
Oh
You've got
yeah.
bumps and lumps and everything, so you're going to have to deal with a lot of shit if you're going on
Hmm.
around. If you're just going up and down the stretch, this is a mile flat, perfectly asphalted stretch. There's no the dangerous sort of zones, so it's fine. But yeah, when I went down this hill near on this in this other park, and it was a fairly steep hill. It wasn't it wasn't crazy bad, but it was pretty steep. And coming to the end of the hill, I realized, shit, there's a load of people at the bottom,
Yeah.
so I couldn't turn into, like, because normally, instead of wanting to stop there and then, you don't have to. You can just veer off to the left or the right and just take a road, and then kind of come to a flat stretch, and then slows you down, and then you just sort of turn or stop.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do anything. There were people everywhere, and I was like, oh shit, and I can't stop, and I don't have stoppers on my rollerblade. I've taken them off.
Oh
So I don't have that little plastic stopper thing, because that makes it really awkward when you're going backwards, those plastic stopper things. So the only way for me to stop was just patch of grass that I saw, like, to my right, and I was like, I'm gonna have to take a dive on that, and I'd rather take a dive on a patch of grass than I am on
oh yeah.
asphalt.
Oh yes. Yeah, those
So
like those those like fuck, what are they called? When you fall and your leg scrapes, like those
yeah,
friction burns that
yeah,
you get with the street
yeah,
and shit. Oh, those are just because it bruises your
yeah.
skin, and then it's also just fiery hot.
Yes,
And if it's a
yes,
sunny
and
day and you stand up, it burns even more. So
yeah,
it's not the best. And if you had any sunscreen on, it's now extra burning because it's all mixing in with all that, all your skin that's just burnt off. Yeah, being a human
yeah,
is a super fun thing when you get injured. It's awful.
yes. I mean, luckily, I am sensible enough to wear jeans normally when I rollerblade. I don't wear shorts
Yeah.
most of the time. But I do wear short sleeve t-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have, because I'm nobody's gonna wear knee pads and arm pads and
I
elbow
wear
pads and
wrist
stuff like. Who?
ones.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I have the wrist ones.
Yeah.
I've got like the ones that protect your hand
Yes.
and my wrist. But I do not wear the knee and the arm,
Same.
elbow. That is humiliating on so many levels. No, no, I'll take that hit. I'll take that hit on
Yeah,
the knee.
I'll
I'm
take
not
it.
wearing no fucking knee pads. Now the funny thing is, back in the 80s, when skateboarders started, and then I don't know if you ever noticed the history. Most in that period, baggy jeans became really popular. These really
Yeah.
baggy, loose jeans that kids were wearing all the time. The reason they became popular is because skaters would wear jeans that were at least two sizes too big for them, so they can wear the knee pads underneath the jeans,
Oh, that's
and it
kind of
doesn't look.
cool.
Yeah, you see, they were hiding the knee pads so they don't look like dweebs,
But because
but they were still.
it's actually probably a good idea to wear the knee pads as well as the elbow pads. I mean, it's just duh, but it really does. It's so funny the things we won't do to like not look dorky, but we'll sacrifice our safety because or comfort because you know how friends don't let friends wear Crocs. That is a very very well known saying over here. But I remember when I worked at Starbucks, I had these fucking Crocs, and they were halfway Crocs, and they didn't have the holes in them. Dude, they are the most comfortable fucking shoes to stand on your feet all day in because they just mold to your feet and they're nice on your ankles. They're just great. But
Walking on a cloud.
yeah, but you're a fucking loser if you wear them.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
mine were
Yes,
black,
you are.
so they weren't super tacky. Everybody would, when they get them, would get like this ugly fucking green color or like pink or like, and I'm a fan of pink, but I'm not wearing pink
Sky
Crocs.
blue.
Yeah, what is that? And then they started getting like patterns on them all of a sudden because it's like, how can we make these uglier? There will be fucking people who buy this shit. And lo and
Somebody
behold,
somebody in marketing probably thought, no, you know what? We know we have an image issue. Let's put patterns on these
yeah.
things because they'll look so much
Oh, because
better.
Crocs are just, yeah, they're hideous, but I will give it to them. They're so comfortable. And unless I was on my feet all day, I would not wear them.
Well, I mean, I've never worn them, and I probably will never wear them. And
Mm.
if anyone puts them on me, it'll be the last day because I'll be in my grave, and that's when they'll be putting them on me because I
That's going to
won't
be a
clearly
great
be
practical
alive.
joke. I'm going to be at your funeral.
Yeah,
I'm going to be like, excuse me. I brought shoes
please.
for this. He specifically asked for these shoes because he
He
wants
said
to be comfortable when he passes on to the afterlife. Okay? We
he
want him
he
partying in heaven with good shoes.
yes, he absolutely insisted for me to come and put these shoes on him
His
on
his ghost
the.
needs these shoes to party with
That's
everybody else.
that's pretty much the only time. Oh my God, we have Dangerfield in the
Hey,
house.
Chris Dangerfield. Oh, look, Chris said, oh, yeah, so Chris's power went out the other day. And I was like, do you have any candles? And he's like, no, I don't have candles. And I'm like, well, if you run out of power and you have no light, you should definitely have
Mhm.
candles. Because this is how used to being comfortable we are with having power and reliable shit that we're like, "Pfft, I don't fucking need any of that caveman stuff. Everything's gonna work well all the time, no problem. And then suddenly the power goes out and you're like, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. But he did have
No.
candles. And now he's saying he burned himself on a candle and he isn't equipped for living like a caveman. This you are correct about. I mean, I don't even know where you dug those candles out from, really. Because at first he was under the impression he didn't have them.
Hey, Dangerfield, I love the video you did the other day with the guy that looks like a kangaroo. It was awesome. I don't want to say who.
Oh my god, he's not Voldemort. You can just say AIU.
I don't.
You know it's been 3 years, right? Like I just don't fucking care.
The man with the name we will never mention.
Oh, oh my god.
But yeah, it was very intrusive. It was very interesting. There was some conversations about suicides and people who wanted to like commit suicide. They were on the edge,
Which is very
and
common right now. But
yeah,
apparently suicide has gone up since COVID.
I can imagine probably suicide amongst married men, especially because they had, had to work from home.
Yeah, can you believe that? Like domestic violence has gone up and child
Divorce,
molestations have gone up, divorces have
child
gone up.
molestation. Seriously, child molestation?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
What
yeah.
kind of insane shit is that? That is crazy. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I just my take. I guess this is the mindset because the weird thing is after I watched Dangerfield's stream and I was listening to all that. I don't know how. I don't know whether the universe was trying to guide me somewhere. I came across this amazing documentary about Robin Williams and the life of Robin Williams. It's a step into my mind, and this was just 2 nights ago, and I watched that, and it's amazing because Robin Williams, he had depression and he committed suicide, and it was just weird. Like the universe is bringing all this information to me, and because for me, I never got it. I can I because I don't know. Maybe I mean I guess that's why I can't empathize or I can't seem to put myself in the shoes of someone who wants to commit suicide because for me it's so this life is already so short. I'm pissed that I may only live up to like 70, 80 years. And I can't like live for the next 200 years to see where the world goes and how technology changes. I'm pissed at the fact that I can't live for the next 300 or 400 years.
That's such a weird energy. You know, I don't understand that. I'm like very comfortable with the idea of death because like I just want to value the moments I do have. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to experience later and I get it. But also there's people from like 50 years ago who aren't going to get experience now, right?
I know, I
I'm
know.
just happy.
Exactly. I'm grateful. I'm incredibly grateful that I have the time I have now.
Yeah.
But
But I
what I
know what
mean
you
is
mean. I do know
for
what you
people who
mean.
wanna yeah, for people who wanna cut this already tiny little life even shorter, because this life is already tiny. We only live on the scale of the universe, we live at a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
We are like, dust in the wind. We're just fleeting moments,
But you know,
that
Banksy, like the perspective that you have right now on life is not the perspective they have,
yeah,
right?
that's exactly
Yeah,
it.
and that's exactly it.
Can't I can't bring myself to picture why someone could do that because I for me everything is so short and so fleeting and this life is so almost spontaneous, instant. It's like seeing a fruit fly because fruit flies live for like I think I don't know if there's fruit fly or another type of fly. They live for a day. They live for a single day. They live a lifetime in that day. They are born, they grow up, they fall in love, they mate, they do all of that
Yeah.
shit. That single 24 hour, their entire existence is a single day. And for us, it's unbelievable. But for them, they do everything. They live a whole lifetime. And so I guess maybe the bigger message for that is, you can live a whole life in a single day.
Yeah.
So why are we spending our time worrying about the inconsequential,
Dude, I don't know. This is exactly why I was asking you about hobbies, is because I have quite a few of them, you know, and I
Mm,
like to engage in those things and like it's a great way to appreciate and really make use of the moment because like once you get into doing something, like once I start strumming the guitar, I could just sit there for like 2 hours and the time goes by and I'm like, oh shit, like I didn't even realize time was a thing. You know, when
mm,
I'm drawing, when I'm sitting and I'm doing my drawings or whatever, I'm zoned. I'm listening to music or listening to a podcast and I'm just zoned into this, like creating this thing. I'm compelled by this creative energy. And then there's, like just listening to music too. Like you need to make time for the things that you like. And like sometimes I just want to chill out and listen to music. I just hang around the house, like I'll dance a little bit and I'll just listen to songs I like. Or I've been doing a lot of, I listen to full albums. Like I'm just going through albums and like getting acclimated to a lot of music that I've missed because I think a lot for me especially is I'm making up for lost time. So when people were like 12, 13, 14 and they were developing a like for their hobbies and habits and like things that they like, I was working full time, right? And supporting myself and going to high school. So I did not have time to think about these things. I grew up really fast in a lot of ways and got left behind in a lot of ways. That's why I'm kind of like stuck in the 90s now, because I'm trying to relive parts of my childhood that I didn't get to experience because I had to fucking work, right? So now I have free time and I'm like, I actually want to learn the things that I have inclinations towards, or like get into those things, and music is definitely that thing. I've always been really inclined towards that. So now I want to learn guitar. Now I want to listen to more music and catch up, you know? It's just like that's now's the time to do it for me, so I'm going to do it. So I'm lucky because I have like this zest and excitement for it that a lot of people don't really seem to have. Like people just seem kind of numbed out, you know? That's the sense I kind of get. And everybody's always kind of on the internet and in these really negative spaces. And even if Corona wasn't a thing, it's not particularly surprising that people feel disconnected and like they have nobody, and then they feel like their life has no value or meaning because they don't have any actual connections in their life that would make them perhaps reconsider killing themselves. Because if you don't have real connections in life and if you don't have good relationships, like that's really the only way to create deep meaning, is like your connection to others gives you perspective to like add texture to meaning. You know what I mean? It's not just some empty concept. You can have material things as much as you like, but it's never gonna, it doesn't have the same kind of, if human connection is something that nourishes us, okay, like a full meal, like a good chicken breast and vegetables and whatever, then material objects are like the science fair project food that people want to zap in the microwave and eat and have tricked
Yeah, yeah,
themselves into thinking is like a wholesome,
yeah,
healthy meal.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a quick fix
Exactly.
versus a long term kind of supplemental thing that you're always doing to keep
Yeah,
connections in your life. And when you don't
100%.
have that, that's when you find people resort to drugs, or you know they this is
Mm.
the thing that they are thinking connects themselves to them, and then it has this artificial reward response in your brain as well. And then that's what you keep running to like, you know, cover up that hole that's there because there's no connection. And some people just don't seem to have the ability to create that connection, or you know, like there's just some imbalance. Like there's a lot of reasons these things could happen.
Mm.
You know, some people
But
just
yeah,
have it in their genes. Their genes just shut down and aren't going to be
I
available
don't know. I
for.
don't know if it's a genetical thing or if it's. I mean, I suppose it could be if biochemistry. You know, if your thoughts are a result of certain biochemical actions in your body, and so
But
that
everything
that result.
is. Right,
Yeah, I
it's
mean
kind of
that's.
weird we don't consider that. Every single thing
Yeah,
that's occurring is a biochemical reaction. So at the end of the day, it could be animated by something that really doesn't have anything to do particularly with the psyche. Like it could be
yeah,
some weird genetic anomaly. It's very difficult to say, you know, but we can make correlations based on the patterns we see in suicides. And often the thing that we see is like people are devoid of value or meaning. And if you listen to any like cognitive scientists, or like Daniel Kahneman is one important one, and I read his book Thinking Fast and Slow, and he really talks about like just the human brain, and it's like so many flaws are built into the system, and the way that it calculates misses a lot of things because it simply does not have all the mechanics available to go through every fucking factor we now deal with in our modern lives, because we're still coming from a place we haven't evolved from, which is the jungles, the savannas, you know, all
yes.
these things. Technology developed very rapidly around us, and I don't think that our psychology even has the capability of coping. And I think that's another reason that there's this discrepancy between like people's happiness and like reality, right? It's
Yeah.
there's a disconnect there.
Yes. Yes.
And like
Yeah.
you're predisposed to certain ways of thinking because when your brain is developed around parents who have certain values and things, you're just going to develop those things being in that environment. So it's very challenging, and unless you have the wherewithal to kind of put yourself in an environment that's going to kind of force you to change the way that you think, it's a really difficult task to just create on your own. Like, we need struggle, that's for sure. And if we don't have it, we put it in front of ourselves in really weird and bad ways that are unproductive and don't actually help evolve
Mm.
or progress us. And then we're wondering why there's so many people out in the streets screaming and doing all this shit, because they have all this like unmanaged energy and negativity that they're kind of funneling through this artificial channel, when really, like, and that to them for some reason creates some illusion of connection, but it's not, it's false.
I'm with you. I think I know what you're saying in regards to the different sort of uh, false things that give you, if you like, your okay. Let me put it this way: good healthy food, like you put it, the chicken, the vegetables, they have nutritional value,
Exactly.
and the fast food, the fast food of that we have has high calorie value, but doesn't actually give
And
you
it's
nutrients.
empty. It's empty.
Yeah, it's empty calories. It's hollow, and so you think you've eaten something of value, but it's actually nothing at the end of it. It's actually empty and hollow, and it's damaging. And it's the same with, I don't say, you and I both are atheists. I don't believe in a soul, but to use the term soul
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
as a filler for this moment, good, um positive, what's it called, positive and nutritious, meaning, things that give your life meaning, things that connect you, are the same as the chicken and the Big Mac. Uh,
Exactly.
One will give you nutritional value that will actually benefit you, last a long time, and feed your soul, if you will. And the other, like buying your next iPhone or your next, I don't know, TV or car, it's a quick fix. It appears as if it should give your life meaning, but it actually doesn't.
But that's also the
And it,
message we're sold through advertisements, right?
oh
Like,
yeah,
every time they're advertising you a product, they're always showing you like a family or a person who is super happy because they have this thing, which creates this like false association. Now, it's very
yes,
easy to do that to people, to associate things with feelings. That's the way to trick people, is to attach a
yeah,
feeling to a thing to sell a product. That's what
mm.
marketing is all fucking about.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, that the thing is, I don't, I don't necessarily blame the marketing guy.
No,
He
no,
is just trying to
they're gonna
figure
do
out,
their job. They want
exactly.
money. That's their thing.
Yeah,
It is what it is.
figure out how to sell you some crap.
Yeah, Chris and I were
It
talking
is
about
up.
that, right? Like, people do
Yeah,
that. We exploit our environments for gain. Like, it's
yeah,
not positive or negative. It's a neutral thing. It's just how it works. Um,
yeah,
but the thing about, from an individual level, to recognize is this: is positive habits beget positive habits. If you want positive
yeah.
feedback loops, you have to start with little positive things. Now, one thing that I think people look at in a really crude way is when Jordan Peterson says something like, clean your room, or just start by making your bed in the morning. Unless you think about it further, you don't really understand the value of what he's saying. Now,
Mhm.
if you start waking up in the morning and making your bed, that's a positive thing that you can do every day and add as a ritual of a positive thing. It feels good to make your bed. It feels good to put things into order. There's a reward response in your brain when you organize and you do stuff like that. And then you're going to make your bed for a while. And then you're like, okay, well, now my brain has automated making my bed. What else can I do? Maybe I can put my shoes in the rack, every day instead of leaving them out there. Now, that's a little bit of order that you're adding every single time. And those things are going to make you want to do more positive things. Now,
Yes.
if you're engaging in opposite behavior, like when you don't make your bed in the morning, you are less inclined to give a shit about how else your house is out of order, therefore
Yes.
just creating more and more chaos because you just leave shit all over the place. This is my story. Like, the reason I'm so familiar with this is because, like, I didn't used to make my bed. I mean, I started making it way before Jordan Peterson started saying it, but the reason it was such a big deal to me and hit me in that way is because I was like, yeah, it was just a really little thing that made me feel like I should get my shit together. Something as simple as making your bed makes you look at other things, as small as
Yes.
they are, and you want to
Yes.
organize more. Like, it's just, And
Yeah,
like improvements are made over time. You can't push yourself to do it. Just start with one simple thing. And then it's just
that's
something your
exactly
brain wants to do because it likes the reward of doing something that's actually good for you over time. And then you're like, "Oh, it's not even that big of a deal. I'm just like getting over my own shit of like wanting to be lazy and messy."
Yeah, well, this is exactly it. This is the one. This, there's a movie a long time ago. Probably, I don't know, maybe even before you were born, called City Slickers with Billy Crystal and Jack Palance. And Jack Palance says to him, like, he says, "What is the meaning of life, Curly?" And he says, "This." And he points to, like, he just shows one finger. He goes, "What? Your finger?" He goes, "No, one thing. Find that one thing that is that meaning in your life." And I think for me, the number one takeaway message for that was the one. You do one thing. You don't have to. Everybody talks about, "Oh, I'm gonna get exercise. I'm gonna start like just becoming henched," and they go to the gym one day. They'll do a grueling hours worth of workout. They're practically paralyzed the next day,
Yeah.
and they don't go back for the next 6 months
Yeah.
because they go all out and they do everything crazy, like crazy. It's not about that. When I, like, a couple of years back, I'm not joking, I couldn't do 10 push-ups. I could not do 10 push-ups. I was incapable of doing 10 push-ups. I was
Mm.
incredibly unfit and overweight, and 10 push-ups was unbelievably daunting to me. Uh, but I went to the gym and I started working out, and I said, I'm not going to do 10 push-ups. I'm going to do one push-up. I just
Mhm.
want to do one push up today. That's all I need.
Exactly.
Now, I ended up actually doing a couple of more, but the one, every time I go, the only goal in my head was one push up. One push up is all you need. You're not asking for any more. You just need to do one.
Yeah.
And that one becomes two, then that two becomes four, and it's exponential as you do it more and more often. So every time you go, don't go into something, anything, whatever it is, the guitar, the you want to become a computer specialist, you want to become a mechanic, whatever, hairdresser, whatever it is that you want to do, think of that, you being an expert in that thing, as that, as the peak of Everest.
Yeah.
You're not going to jump from the ground to the top of Everest.
Yeah.
You're not going to do it unless you're Superman. You're not going to do it. But what you can do is you can go and find a step at the back of the mountain and take one step.
Exactly.
That's all you're looking for, is that one step. Whatever it is that you're planning to do, you don't need to do it all. You just need to do the one step, one thing. Just the one thing
But the
is
thing
all
is,
you
we
need to do.
don't like clearly the way that products are geared to us and the way that just life in general is geared to us is, oh, learn these shortcuts to be a pro at this in like 24 hours. This is the culture we live in.
I know.
Open a
I know.
can in 1 second. Instant gratification. We don't give a
Yes.
fuck about the process anymore. We want the end result because when people watch TV and movies and these things, they're not going to give you a drawn out real life version of events. You're only going to get highlights and things that are going to pique your interest because they want your attention. But people
Yes.
like develop this idea somehow that it's real life and you could just learn something quickly. Like I've now been seeing all these ads on Instagram for these apps that are like, learn guitar in one simple lesson, become a pro, shred like the fucking icons. And I'm like, no, that's not what I want, actually. I want to struggle through learning the shapes and learning the chords and doing things properly because that's going to leave lessons in my mind. And like, that's your brain figuring things out. And then once you figure it out, you can forge the brain patterns and the
Mm.
muscle memory and all that stuff. But like, when it's just like, and plus, there's no heart in that. There's no heart in not engaging in the
Mm.
grueling process of learning something. You know what I mean?
The
You
thing
can't
is,
teach
those,
heart. You can teach me
yeah,
to shape my fingers a certain way and stuff, but like, I want to play from here
yeah.
eventually,
But
you
the
know?
thing is, those one learn how to play the guitar in 1 week are usually crap anyway. I
Yeah.
actually, believe it or not, I got those. You think, well, I didn't try it? Of course, I fucking tried it. Learn the
Yeah.
guitar in a week? Hell yes, I'm taking that shit. Right? If I could figure out a way, just like the Matrix, to plug some shit into my head and it would make me become a guitar master within 24 hours, I would plug that shit straight into my
Yeah,
head
yeah.
without a second thought. But the problem
You
is,
Gen Xers
those
are
are
weird, man. You're like all ready to just plug shit into your
oh,
fucking bodies.
I am right in there. But the thing is, it's a lie. It's a lie. It's
Mm-hmm.
bullshit. Even those ones who tell you you can become a guitar master in a week, once you actually get the program, you realize no, you have to practice this for years. And what you can do, what they will get you to do, is to play like two chords
Oh yeah.
of like a very famous song where you are the backing guitarist to this whole band, and
Yeah.
you're just playing these two fucking chords the entire song. So
Yeah.
you're not shredding like Slash. You're
Yeah.
not ripping the fretboard like Jimi Hendrix. No, you're just playing two chords of an entire song for the entire song.
Yeah.
so,
It's
so
just like
it's
a way to
bullshit.
like trick beginners into actually just doing the motions repetitively. Oh, look, you
Mm.
got really good at playing this song. Now you're good.
Yeah,
And it's like,
yeah. No,
no.
it's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. So when it comes to things like guitar, you see, I learned this concept through martial arts. Actually, I learned it long before I mean, it was about the same time as when my mum bought me a guitar and forced me to go to classes.
Mm.
But in about the same way, I learned, I was doing martial arts, and I learned through both almost parallel. None of these things are easy to do, and none of these things are quick. Bodybuilders, especially bodybuilders, learn this very quickly. I
Mm.
mean, there's a reason why Arnold Schwarzenegger is as successful as he is in fields which he had no business being in.
Yeah,
Arnold
yeah.
Schwarzenegger does not have any business in being an actor. The man cannot act for shit. He has one accent which he cannot change for
No.
any movie. I watched a movie with him last night. I watched a movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger where he was with Jackie Chan playing an Englishman in London as
Oh
an
no.
English soldier, as like a captain of the tower, the London Tower where they put prisoners.
Yeah.
He was the captain of the Tower of London. And the man still had an Austrian accent. He didn't even attempt to put on a British accent. There
Legit,
was
no one gives a
nothing
fuck.
British.
He's
He was like,
Arnold, so he can just get
yeah.
away with everything.
So this man had no business in being an actor, and yet he became one of the biggest stars in the world because the lesson he learned from
I'm a governor
bodybuilding.
of California.
And yes, and he became the governor of California, and he went and married a fucking Kennedy.
Yep.
So the reason he can do these things, and he knows he can do these things, is because bodybuilding showed him how to work hard.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you have patience and you work hard and you allow your craft to grow and you build on it every day at a time.
Yeah,
He is
yeah.
not in a hurry to do any of these things. He just
Mhm.
took his time, and he just grinded away every day,
Yeah.
and he got everything he wanted. That is literally the only method to do anything of value. If anything comes to you quickly in your life, if you suddenly, I mean, I've literally known karate clubs that will give you a black belt in 3 months. In 3 months, they'll give you a black belt. Trust me, that black belt isn't worth the fucking material it's made out of. It's
Yeah,
not
3
worth
months.
shit.
That seems kind of crazy.
I'm not joking. They call it super fast black belt course or
Super
some
fast
bullshit
black
like that.
belt.
Black belt. Yes, get your black belt here.
Get your black belt super fast.
Exactly.
Only
Exactly.
$3.99 one
It's
day, every day.
utterly, yeah, it's utter bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. There's no
Yeah.
way you're going to accumulate that kind of knowledge and that kind of information. And besides, the karate that they teach you is usually shite. But what I mean is, anything worth having in life. Muhammad Ali said it. Muhammad Ali said it on the Parkinson show back in the 70s. He said, anything worth having in this world, you have to work hard.
Oh,
You don't
yeah.
just walk down the street and pick up a diamond. You don't just walk down the street and find a bar of gold. You want gold, you want diamond, you have to dig, you have to dig, you have
Unless
to
you're just a
struggle.
lucky motherfucker and someone just happened to drop a bar of gold
Yeah,
out their
Just
pocket.
like well, yeah, that's just pure luck. But 99% of anything worth having in the world, it takes some level of struggle. It takes some level of hard work, effort. Climbing a mountain effectively. You have to do some of that. If you've been given something in life easy, believe me, it's cheap. It's worthless. It's
Yeah.
hollow. It's McDonald's of whatever it is you've been given. It
Yeah.
isn't worth having because you didn't struggle for it. You don't, and
You
the
don't
main thing is,
appreciate it the same.
aha,
If you don't have to struggle for it, you just don't appreciate it the same. You know?
mm, you don't
Some
care.
and you have to be able to discern some things are worth struggling for and some things are not. You don't have to like sacrifice
Mm,
yourself at every fucking thing that you're trying to engage in, right? Like there's some things that maybe you're not going to be good at. Maybe you don't have a heart for it. Maybe you don't want to do it. Well, give it time, figure it out, and if you're really having that same result, don't do shit you hate. You know?
cut your loss.
That's
Cut
the
your losses.
worst thing to do is to continue to do shit you hate. That's why I don't get like people get caught up with the money they make at their jobs, but they fucking hate their jobs. Like every day they go to work and they just dread being there and it's just like it's taking years off your life literally, you know, like to be in an environment that makes you feel negatively. You might as well be
Yeah,
stuffing Big Macs
yeah.
down your face too.
I was having this exact conversation with a friend a couple of nights back about jobs that people do that they
No.
hate doing. Um, Most of the jobs that people do that they hate doing. Now, if you're doing a job that you hate the work environment,
Mm-hmm.
but the job is giving you growth, you're learning about a particular thing, you're growing as a person because this job has certain skills that you have to utilize, which is rare. Then sure, do the job for a while, gain those skills, and then bounce to a better work environment or a better career, better job, better pay, so on. But if you're doing a job that you hate doing because you hate the work environment, and it's not giving you any benefits, any learning lessons or anything, any skills that you can utilize in other places to grow as a person, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you still in that job? Now the only people who are staying in those types of jobs who they hate where they work and the job is useless is because they have children, because they have mortgages, because
Yeah.
they have responsibilities and they have no choice.
Yeah.
Those are the only kind of people that do that. But if you are a single person, I would say in this day and age, especially in this era, more than any other period in human history, if you are a young 20 something and you are doing a job you hate and it's not growing you as a person, it's not giving you skills that you can transfer in life, quit. Quit immediately and go and find yourself a job that you can, or more even better than quitting, build a business, online business or any other form of business, especially I say you can do online businesses are literally cost you pennies to set up. It cost me £1 to set up a website. I'm not joking. I can buy a domain for £1 and I can usually find a hosting company that will host your website for free. You can set up a website for £1. If you can't do that, if you don't have the skills to do that, then you can learn those skills online very easily. Nowadays, with content management systems, it's so easy. So build a business, work the shitty job whilst you need it because you need to pay the rent. Fair enough. I'm not saying
Yeah.
go out and quit now. That's actually bad advice to immediately quit. But build set yourself up that within a year or two you can quit that job and move into something you actually like. But in this day and age, if you don't have that kind of big responsibilities and you hate your job and you hate the work environment that you're in, you should most definitely be working your way towards getting out.
Yeah, work your way towards getting out. But here's the other thing. That doesn't mean that while you're working at the place that you don't like, that you get to have a shitty attitude.
Oh yeah,
Like, do
yeah. I
your
mean,
fucking job. That's the number one
yeah.
thing you learn from working a shitty job is that you need to adjust your fucking attitude. Right now, when you're first getting into the job market, guess what? You are not as valuable, okay, as any of the other people who have worked there longer than you because they have more experience. You have to take on shit jobs sometimes
Oh,
because you need to get experience. And you still have to be able to behave like a professional, whether you are working at a fast food restaurant or whatever it is, because it is your job. That's a
yeah.
very important lesson to learn. No matter how much you don't like something, if it's something that you have figured out that you have to do for some time, you have to be able to adapt your attitude towards that. And doing that is not only psychologically stabilizing and good for you, it is just going to make you more employable in the future. Like it's just important to learn. You know, these
Yeah.
these kids who have these jobs at these fast food places, they really don't do their fucking job. Like they're very reckless. They don't give a shit about the quality that they're providing when they're like the service industry demands a certain type of demeanor from you. You kind of have to play along with that. It just is what it
Guys,
is.
well, taking this is the other thing. Just because you hate your job, just because you hate the place you work and the work environment, there is still a lesson. The lesson to be learned is to be a professional. If you
Right.
can accumulate a professional mindset, even if you're doing the shittiest job, if you're washing dishes or you're you're working at McDonald's and serving people burgers, even if you're doing that, but if you can cultivate a professional mindset, to be a professional where you are, to take your job seriously no matter what it is, that will set you up really well for the rest of your life. That will actually set you up and give you the kind of mental acumen that you
Yes.
need to work along with other people, because even if you're your own boss, even if you're your own business owner, you are still going to employ people. You're still going to need to have the social and psychological awareness to get along with other people and be professional with other people. You may not
Mm-hmm.
go out drinking with these guys, you may not be best friends, that may not necessarily be the case, but you still have the attitude, the mental attitude of I'm a professional, and
Right.
this is in a professional setting. So treat whatever you do, whether you clean toilets or whether you're the CEO of a corporation, as if you are a professional, and treat your job like that, because that will set you up. That will give you the work ethics, because there is some, and this is something that I do agree with young people who do shit jobs, and I get it. It's horrible. People treat you like shit. People talk down to you, treat you like a child, and you may be 20 years old, you may be 19, 20, 21, whatever. You might even be 25, and people still treat you like a child, and they give you the shit jobs, and you feel really crap about it. I've done those jobs. Trust me, it's fucking awful. But if you build a good work ethic, that work ethic will set you up for so many other parts of your life. I mean, I had a job where I worked 70 hours a week, and I hated it. It was grueling. I worked from 10 a.m. in the morning until 3 a.m. at night. Six. I mean, for the first 5 weeks, I worked 7 days a week. I didn't even get a day off because I was, well, I was a manager. I was assistant manager to this place,
Yeah.
but uh, the place opened. I worked 7 days a week for the first 5 weeks, 70-hour weeks. It was grueling. I slept. One time, I passed out in my suit. I just sat on my bed when I got home. I said, I'm just going to sit for a minute, and then I'll take off my suit and shower, and then I just suddenly I woke up and it was 9 a.m. Holy shit. What the hell? I was still
Yeah.
in my suit. So it was grueling. But that period in that job gave me the mental confidence to never be afraid of any jobs. No matter what job they come at me, they say, "Oh, you have to work weekends." Fucking what? I work weekends. You have
Yeah.
to work nights. Oh, I fucking work nights. There is not a there is no job or hours that a boss can, or a company can put in front of me for me, and tell me that you have to do these hours or you have to do these days, and for me to be scared of, to be
Yeah.
for me to be like, oh no, I don't work Sundays. No, I worked every fucking day. There is no I don't work Sundays, I don't work evenings, I don't do these. If it's worth it, by the way. Now for me, the difference is now I will do it if the job is worth it. I don't
Yeah.
just waste my energy and waste my time. I am much more efficient with my time and my energy now. I don't just waste it, and I don't just work like a donkey for someone who asks it,
Right.
but I
Right.
will do it if it's worth doing and if the job is worth doing. But the main thing is, the main takeaway for me was, I am no longer afraid of any scenario that a company would put in front of me. So I took that from that job. The rest of it was a pile of shit. The rest of
Yeah.
it was grueling, and just, but I realized I can do 70 hours. I
Yeah.
can do 7 days a week. I realized my own capacity to be able to do certain things, to push myself in a certain way. That's again comes from people who do bodybuilding, people who exercise,
I
or
think
are
it's really anybody who engages in a task and actually puts the time in. And the only
yes.
people who have mad shit to say about anybody and are, like your typical YouTube commenter, it's like, bro, what you're trying to do here is you are absorbing everybody's content. You're not making shit. So you don't actually know what it's like. I like, even if I don't like your work, I can still appreciate that you put the time in, and there's some like things that are very difficult to deny because you can see the work is being put in. You know what I mean? It is what it is. Like, some people get really good at doing what they do because they put in the time, and you can see it. It manifests in their work. You know what I mean?
You can
Like,
appreciate the effort. You
when
can
I
definitely appreciate the
practice guitar every day and I notice I'm getting better at moving my fingers and not making chords buzz and do this kind of stuff, I'm seeing the byproduct
effort.
of putting in the time and the repetitions and the practice. It's
Yes.
rewarding, you know? It's really hard to just, like in general, I've just always found it really hard to hate on somebody who's doing something or putting an effort into something because it's like, dude, I'm not putting that much effort into that thing. How could I even say shit?
Yeah, but the thing is, I have found, they say haters be haters, haters hate, um, and this isn't just in the era of the internet. People have been hating on each
Oh,
other
for
for
sure.
eons.
Oh, yeah.
Women are jealous of each other all the time, and so have been hating on people putting in an effort in any sort of significant way on anything for a long time. I found that even your closest friends, if you make a dramatic change in your life for a positive to you, that is going to make you better at something than your friends. Especially, I mean, I've literally experienced this with one of my closest friends. He's still my best friend to this day. I've known him for 20 years. Awesome guy. I consider him a brother. But when I made certain changes in a particular area of my life, and he wasn't making those changes, he wasn't having those growths. He became a naysayer in what I was doing a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah.
Even though I didn't pay attention to him and I kept plowing anyway, he was one of the biggest naysayers of what I was trying to do, because I could see that he wasn't making any of those changes. He wasn't doing it. He wasn't growing as a person in his life. And because sometimes some friends do like you where you are in your
Oh, yeah, of
station.
course.
They
Because then
like
they don't feel like they have to move.
Exactly, exactly. And not only they don't feel like they have to move, they also feel, oh well, I'm a slightly superior to him. I'm ahead of him, so I'm okay because I'm actually better than him, or in this area, I'm still doing better than him. So sometimes they're happy to keep you in your position because it makes them feel good about themselves. And so if they see you change, they don't like it,
No.
because it reflects that it means that they have to change. They have to make some sort of growth, or they
No,
have
it
to
makes
move.
them feel they have to change. I mean,
Mm.
you should want to change. If you
But
don't, if
people don't.
no, I know they don't want
Don't like
to. We have this like,
yeah.
we live in these habitual ways. We do the same thing day in and day out. People actually fail to add variety into their life. And what do they say
Mm,
about variety? It's the spice of life, right? Like you,
yeah.
but it's something you have to consciously kind of add. You have to find things and be in kind of a discovery mode. You have to have a discovery module in your mind to like explore new things and do all that kind of stuff. Because if you don't, you are just going to become kind of one note and boring. And then when someone else is actually diversifying their portfolio of hobbies or skills or whatever, and they're seeing that, yeah, that should be a motivating thing for you. If it's your friend and you're seeing them do better, like when I see people around me do better, I'm like, oh shit, my friend's like putting in an effort here. That's actually a really good thing to put effort into doing. I'm actually going to try to do better instead of, well, you don't have to do it like that. Like, I don't know. It seems kind of weird that you're doing it like this instead of being like on the negative end. Be like, yo, that's a
Exactly.
great idea. Thanks for like inspiring me to do something cool or something different or, look at this a
Mm.
different way. I like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is the thing. This is why, like, you are my, like, one of the people who I consider to be my happy place in life, because every time I talk to you, every time I talk to this other friend of mine from another job, that I used to do, I you know number one, I just get an overwhelming amount of just joyful feeling of,
Good.
like, positive uh motivation to do things in life. So there is that overarching feeling of positivity. The other thing is, when I talk to my other friend, because most of the time when I talk to you online, it's a public forum, so I don't get as personal as we do when we're like on WhatsApp or something. So we
Mm.
talk much more. I get much more comfortable,
Yeah, of
there
course.
than I do here. But With my friend, yeah, I talk about a lot of intricate parts of life and work and stuff. And he is always, even when he is negative, or when he's not negative, but he's critical, he's being like constructive criticism. It is, he puts a positive spin on
Mm-hmm.
everything he says. It's still like, oh, that's a great job. That looks amazing. But you know what you could do? You could change a little bit this way or that way. So it's not like, ah, man, this is just shit, man.
Yeah,
What are you
yeah.
doing? There are some friends who just go like that. Now, don't get me wrong. I appreciate my friends who are a little bit black pilled, if you like, a little bit negative in most of their way they put things across. But for the most part, there are times where I have to draw a line and say, okay, he is now just being negative for the sake of being negative.
Right.
This
Yeah.
isn't negativity in a constructive way. This is just him dragging me down to his level, or he wants to just drag all of us down with him because he himself needs picking up. And actually, I try to somehow figure out a way of picking him up or lifting him up out of the hole that he's in, because I know that what I'm doing, I'm okay, but he might need more help. So when someone in your life is that negative, always don't just totally dismiss it. Dismiss the fact that they're being negative towards your goal, but also pay attention that maybe they need a bit of help right now. Maybe they could do with a pick me up. So they may be negative. Their negativity towards your ideas or your move, your things, could be just a reflection of where they are, and they're
I mean, it
just,
generally is.
yeah,
If
yeah.
you're not giving
Usually, you're
someone a
right.
reason to be negative towards you and they're being negative towards you, it's because they're projecting their own shit on you.
Yeah, most
Right.
of the time, yeah,
There's no need to do that, and a lot of the time it's born of an insecurity. That's a thing we don't talk about too, is people are very insecure, but they just try very hard to pretend they're not. So they'll like post lots of pictures, or they'll do stupid shit for attention, and it's like, dude, just acknowledge your insecurities. Why the
yes,
fuck do you need attention in this way so badly? Like, where are you not, again, not having the right kind of connections in your life will have you doing stupid shit, you know? And like, people excuse themselves of their behavior on the internet. And yes, I'm definitely looking at you too, because you've just said it outright. People
yeah,
excuse themselves from behaving in a certain way when they're on the internet because they think they can separate themselves, like, oh, I'm not like this in real life. Yes, you can't be, but it's still an aspect of the person you are if you want to be an asshole like this to people for fun. Like, it's coming from a place,
it is true. It is
right?
true.
It's
That you
coming from a
know,
place. Whether you like it or not, I don't give a fuck. The fact is, it's coming from a place inside you. So
it is true.
it's cool to acknowledge that, like, you understand the dynamic where online you can be this way and in person you can't be this way. But like, for people who are kind of across the board however they are, that can be a really kind of disorienting thing. And I think that's
Mm,
my issue, is because I see it that way. Is like, I can't separate people from the way they behave online, where it's free reign, by the way. And if you are behaving like a total asshole when you're allowed to act like a total asshole, that's kind of the problem. And it's kind of the reason we have laws and stuff, right? To
yeah.
prevent humans from being the humans that they are. Because if they were allowed, guess what? They'd be fucking raping everybody out here, you know? So it's one of those things. And I
it,
get
it
it.
is true. You're right. I mean, I tried to, I kicked off this whole YouTube thing, and I went to Speaker's Corner, and I was like, my go-to thing was just to be an absolute troll and a dick.
Hmm.
And I had my little year-long feuds with a couple of people there, and we had our back and forth. But I came to realize, number one, uh, I was doing it for a bit of fun. They
Of
were
course.
doing it. They became really serious about it, and maybe, like you said, what I'm doing is also coming from some other deeper sort of thing inside me, where I'm just being an asshole because of certain unhappy or certain certain things that I'm upset about in my life. So I'm not completely content with my life,
Well, not
and
necessarily
I
your
don't think anyone
life,
should be.
but like,
Exactly.
the Muslim thing that you talk about, like, there are good reasons to dislike some of those things. So it
Well,
could
yeah.
simply just be that place that you're being an asshole from, not necessarily that you have some deep, dark, brooding shit, right? But like, not necessarily. I just want to make it
Yeah,
clear that
yeah,
it's
but
not a necessary thing.
this was the distinction is I was I was picking on this young girl and fucking with her. It went beyond just me criticizing Islam. It became a personal thing with me
Oh,
and her. That's where I didn't like it, because I thought, okay, now I'm being pulled into this like downward spiral of negativity, and I'm now just attacking this person for the sake of attacking this person. I'm just saying negative things about this individual for the sake of it. I'm no longer doing it. It stopped being fun. That was the number one warning sign for me. That was the
mm-hmm.
number one sort of wake up call, is it stopped being fun. It wasn't fun anymore. It wasn't a bit of a joke. And so once it stopped being fun, I realized, okay, now I'm just doing it just to be mean.
Right.
And that isn't me. That is, I'm now losing myself, or the person I am, just for the sake of being mean to someone. And that's when I thought, okay, I have to somehow put an end to this.
It'll get you
And
views
luckily,
though. You know what I mean? Like that shit is what does get views. Is like absolute
oh yeah,
country.
yeah, absolutely. Most of my videos about her is some of the most popular videos I've got. Most of the shows that I did with her in the title had hundreds of people sitting watching me, because they loved it. They loved that shit.
Yeah.
People actually like drama. People
I love it.
like
Love it.
the Kardashians. People like the soap operas. There's a reason why people like that, because they want to live vicariously through that event. They don't want to be involved in it themselves, but they want to live vicariously through these other people who are involved in that event,
Yeah.
and just sort of watch the chaos. And yeah, it's true, they do. But the thing is, and I'm happy to feed some of that beast. I'm not going to shy, and I'm not going to lie to say I'm not, oh, I didn't want to, be
Yeah, yeah,
mean.
yeah, of
No,
course.
I became, I was taking the piss. I was joking, because I wanted, to be part of the shit show a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But when I started to realize I am now becoming a dark and hateful person for the sake of it, and there's no number of views or audience congratulations or audience clapping is going to get me to do that. I don't give a shit if I have one person watching my entire stream forevermore, but I'm not going to go down a road and change who I am as a
Right.
person because I want to get views. Fuck that. I am certainly not ready to sell myself to the audience for the audience sake. So when it became unfunny, or when it became when it became not fun anymore, and I became just a mean asshole on the internet, just saying mean shit for the sake of saying mean shit to some
Yeah.
young girl. That was it. That's when I thought I have to put a thing end to this. Now, luckily, it happened that we kind of came to a moment in which we both decided we both will stop mentioning each other. So she stopped as well, because I do get antagonized, and I do respond. I do tend to jump and respond to people as well.
Yeah.
And I realized I've got that weakness. But generally, she stopped, I stopped, and then I felt so much more like, okay, I'm back to being just me again.
Yeah.
And if I fuck with people online, look, I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna troll people. I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna just take the piss.
Yeah, of
I'm a
course.
I'm a I am a born piss taker.
I
It's
feel
just
like
like it.
taking the piss is necessary. You can't
Yeah.
take life too seriously. You know what I
But
mean?
what I do is I look at you see, this is why I see why, like, Donald Trump is the butt of every liberal person's joke.
Hmm.
Effectively, they troll Trump. That's what they're doing. If you look at Stephen Colbert, if you look at all these late night show hosts, all they do is they're insulting Trump all day every day. They just take the piss out of him every
It's
day.
super easy to just, and like, I don't know, there's diminishing returns with that, right? It just gets, that is like
Oh, it's
Trump
boring.
derangement syndrome
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
territory.
I stopped watching Colbert. I stopped watching all these late night guys because I love Stephen Colbert. I love the
Mm.
Colbert Report. I think he's a very smart, clever, and funny person. But he is just doing one joke for the last 4 years, and that's Trump, Trump, Trump. I'm like, dude,
Gets
throw in a couple
boring.
of other jokes,
It gets boring.
occasionally. Yeah, it's just like every time I saw his monologues, it was just a Trump fest. I'm like, look, sure, okay, Trump, orange man bad. But dude, come on, throw in a
It
couple of other
speaks to
jokes.
such a lack of creativity to just hit the same button again and again, but also It's very easy
Years
to
with it.
trick your audience into continue to listen to you because you hit the same button that they like again and again. And then over time, it just becomes a habit to laugh at shit. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It just becomes habitual. If you're always going to laugh at it, it's going to like create this fucking pathway that's just like, oh, the stimulus is this, we know to laugh at it. It becomes more of a learned
Yeah.
behavior than like a legitimate reaction. And then you have people running around thinking they're fucking hilarious still, and it's like, dude, you've been making the same jokes for like fucking 5 years. Are you guys
I
gonna
know,
be
but
over Trump at some point? So you can
the
actually
funny
be creative and make a joke, or are you just this unfunny?
Well, the funny thing is, if you watch, I mean, I haven't seen a full one, but I've seen little clips. If you watch these late night hosts now that they have to do their monologues and their shows from home or remotely or in the studio, but no audience members, so they don't have the laughter track, you kind of look at it and you
Hate
realize
it.
this shit ain't funny.
No, it
This
ain't
shit is
funny.
not funny without a laughter track playing behind you.
Nope.
It's because almost the laughter track is almost like a cue that this is where you're supposed to laugh, even
Exactly.
if you don't find it funny.
That's why I don't like
But
the Big Bang Theory. Like everybody's like, "Oh my god, this show's so funny." I'm like, it's actually awful. The Office is a great show because like there's suspense. They give
mm,
you the space to react as you think you should. You
yes,
know,
yes,
as
you don't.
opposed to
There is no
like,
laughter track.
no. No, it's great. And I prefer that because like I get to decide what's funny. You're not feeding me what you think is funny or like you
Yeah,
need to get my joke, you know? It's like
yes,
shut the fuck
yes.
up.
Yeah, yeah. This is. I've come to realize, like go and watch Friends without the laughter tracks. Just like
Yeah.
mute Friends or sort of try to somehow block out the laughter track and just listen to the jokes that are doing or the things that they're saying. It's not as funny as you thought it was.
No.
It just isn't. I mean, don't get me wrong, Friends. I love Friends. I grew up with Friends, but it's I still like the show, but it's not as funny as I thought it was. It is so much, it's far more simplistic, and the jokes and the storylines are actually not that clever.
No, it's pretty
They're
rough.
not.
it's
Yeah,
it's pretty
yeah,
rough. It's just
they're
the
not.
same archetypes we see again and again. You
Yeah,
know, it's
yeah.
nothing that we should be. But I just have a soft spot for Friends because that was like my teenage kind of
Oh
show.
yeah, same. When I was a young person, all the 90s, I grew up with Friends most of my teenage years or late teenage years. Probably you were much more teenage than I was when Friends was on. But generally, Friends was one of the pinnacle shows that I remember as a young person. It's just that when I look at it as on reflection, and maybe my taste has changed. Maybe that's what it is, or maybe I've become more sophisticated with how I look at comedy and jokes. But when I look at something like The Office, especially the British Office, there is so many layers. I can watch it now and still piss myself to the things that are happening, and I see new things that I missed previously.
Yeah.
That's what I find amazing. Like the TV show Curb Your
Oh
Enthusiasm.
yes, of
Again,
course.
another incredibly layered, funny, show where you can watch it years later and you still see things that you're like, oh my god, I missed that bit, and that,
Yeah.
and 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 yeah, there's like shows you can watch which have so many layers and so many nuance, so many things playing inside it, and you kind of get it. The movie for me, some of the movies that I didn't find funny when I first watched, but then I find it hilarious late years down the road. Tropic Thunder.
Oh yeah.
Tropic Thunder was not funny when I watched it first. The first time I just watched it with like a plain face, like this looks stupid. But over the years, as I watched it again and again, a few more times, I started to notice the layers, the different elements that are playing here, and the Robert Downey Jr. thing was
That was hilarious.
incredible.
I didn't even know that was him until like a couple of years later.
Well, I knew Robert Downey Jr. was him, but I didn't know Tom Cruise was the manager, the bold manager guy, for about a year afterwards.
Oh my
You know Tom
god.
Cruise?
Yeah, I know Tom Cruise. Of course I know Tom
No,
Cruise.
no, no. You know the part he played in that film,
Yeah.
the bold manager guy.
Yeah, I don't remember.
You
It
don't
doesn't look
remember
like
him?
him though, right? because
No,
he's
it
also
looks nothing like Tom Cruise. He's the one who says, "I'm going to come down, and you're going to need a United Nations resolution to keep me from throwing, I forgot, hellstorm upon
Tom
you or some shit like
Cruise.
no, no, from
I'm about to look right
Tropic.
now, actually.
Oh, oh, it's awesome! It is. Oh, his part in that film was brilliant, and I had no idea it was him. I had no idea. Oh, big up Hassan Yilmaz.
Oh, look at that. I see now.
Yes.
Well, now that you said it, I can see it's him, but I didn't actually
You didn't
connect
know
that
it
it
was
was
him.
him.
Exactly.
Oh,
Exactly. No, so many
that's
people
funny.
didn't know. So many people didn't know. It's crazy. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's wild.
It's unbelievable. Yeah,
He's
and
all
that was
kind of
Tom.
fat too. He's like a fat
Yeah,
gangster dude.
exactly.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
He's, he's got a little pudgy belly,
Dude,
and
I
he's got
remember when I was so shocked to hear that the black guy was Robert Downey Jr. I was just like, what?
yeah,
The Don't Go Full
yeah.
Retard guy? That's Robert Downey Jr.? Like, I know I saw his name in the credits too, and I was like, I don't remember seeing him. Maybe he was just like in a bush or something. But then I'm like, why would they pay him so much to just like be an extra, right? Because he's like
He's not
he's
just a
like
cameo.
he's like high budge, you know?
Yeah, yeah. But no, the thing is, I knew Robert Downey Jr. because he's in the movie at the beginning with his
Mm,
other movie roles as himself, like well, as a white guy anyway. And so you kind of you recognize that he is Robert Downey Jr. So they kind of show you at the beginning of the film.
mm-hmm.
But with Tom Cruise, they don't tell you. There's nothing in the film that tells you who this actor is. You have to just sort of figure it out. And I said, for about a year after watching that film, I didn't realize that was that was Tom Cruise. And then someone at work went to me, "Yeah, dude, that's Tom Cruise." I was like, "Oh my
Oh,
god,
well,
that,
damn.
that
Well, I'll be
changes so much."
damned.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. But generally, these it's just my I said, getting back to like your my taste of comedy. I've learned to recognize now much more sophisticated comedy than I did before. Like people who say or do something or have an act or a show, but it works on so many other levels. A lot of my videos, this is the thing like my original videos that I made. I used to make videos with like the music was telling you something about the video. Either the intro or the outro was
Right.
to do with video. So I'm, for example, I made a video about Donald Trump and transgender people in the military. Now, at the end of that video, I played the song "We're in the Army Now,"
Hmm.
uh, and it was all like montage of transgender or not transgender really. It was transvestites, drag acts, and dressed up in the army outfits. But nobody got that shit. It just was like whoosh. I was like, nobody noticed all these layers that I'm putting into
No,
this
but I don't
fucking
think it
show.
has. I don't think it necessarily has anything to do with you. I think it has more to do with the fact that like people are not thinking at that level. You know what I mean? Like if you're putting in all these intricacies and layers, unless someone's going to look at it a few times and actually notice
Yeah,
that stuff and not just watch it all at once, you're not going to catch the layers. You know what I mean?
I
So,
know.
um, getting to comedy, I like all I listen to is funny people talk, and I'm a big comedy junkie. I really like. I just generally love. Yeah, because I watch all comedic podcasts, and I have a few intellectual ones in there, like a Sam Harris or
Mm.
Tim Ferriss or whatever that I'll listen to once in a while. But generally, I like the funny ones.
Yeah, there's a guy you post quite a
Tim
lot.
Dillon.
Tim Dillon. I started watching him because of you.
Bro,
It's
Tim
so
Tim
good.
Dillon is just he is on another level. And like this is the
Yeah,
thing that's hard for me with like dudes, right? Is I can't date a dude who's not funny. And my standards for funny are very high. And if you don't make me laugh,
forget it.
there will be no WAP here. Do you get my drift? It will be
Yeah.
DAP. It will be DAP, not WAP, as it's supposed to be. Because being able to make jokes and play with the abstract ideas that we have and make something funny out of it, or even basic things and making them funny, that requires a level of intelligence, and it also requires a level of making connections that, let's be real, not everybody has. And
Mm.
I see that a lot through professionals, and it's kind of unfair. Like I have to temper it a little bit, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if I'm willing to really budge on this one. If you're not funny, like I can't jive.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is, I mean, I don't expect an average person who's not a professional comic to obviously, I don't have that biggest. I mean, let's be
I'm
honest.
not
As
saying
a
the guy that I need to date needs to be like comedian level funny. I'm just saying like the
That's what I mean.
that energy and that attempt to like try and make things
Yeah,
funny. Often that's funny in itself. You know what I mean? So being brave enough to just say some stupid shit, because you know
yeah,
guys do, whether you admit it or not, how confident you are or not confident, you do engage in this behavior where you're like trying to impress us and woo us. It's like a biological thing. It's what happens, right? Like
absolutely.
it is what it is.
Yeah.
So
The
use
thing
that a
is,
little bit.
yeah, Christopher Hitchens actually said it. Christopher Hitchens said the reason why men are funnier and better at comedy than women is because, biologically, or not biologically, but anthropomorphically, evolutionary, you don't have to be funny.
No.
It's not your job to be funny. It is our job to try to be funny and quirky and make you laugh, and it's an attraction thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's a courtship dance. So women don't have to be funny, and so it's not really, it's not an inbuilt thing for them. This is why I was saying, when you were saying, like, you have to be funny in order for me to date you. A woman doesn't have to be funny for me to date them. The woman just has to say, yes, you have access to my vagina.
But
That's pretty much her only criteria for a man.
men also have to be funny because it's a way for them to like make light of their competitive nature and to actually work together. Like it creates strong
Mm,
social bonds between men, right? Because when
true.
you get a bunch of men together, it is just going to happen that there's competition there.
Yes,
Right? If there
yes.
isn't a woman there, there's still competition because that's just how men
Oh
are
yeah,
built to be. They're
yeah.
going to compete with each other. That biological mechanism is always there. It doesn't just disappear.
We still
If
have
you
a
throw a
metaphoric.
woman in the mix, it gets a lot fucking worse. Every guy's trying to be the funniest and tag all the jokes and do all this.
Yes,
Because I've been that
yes.
girl who's around like a group of guys and it's like they all try to be funnier than each other. Usually
Yeah,
they make
yeah.
more jokes with each other, but when a girl gets thrown in, they're just like really trying hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 absolutely. This is exactly it. Men, whether they're with a woman or not, or around women or not, they still have a metaphoric dick measuring
Oh
competition
yeah.
amongst themselves, no matter on whatever level you want to think. And I've got some of the chillest, most amazingly self-confident men. Most of my friends are very much alphas, alpha males, alpha in their business, alpha in their careers, and alpha in their social sort of standards. But we all still have this subconscious dick measuring competition. There is still a subconscious level of, if one guy is too funny and too getting too much of the attention of the whatever party we're in, another guy's going to throw in one or two jokes. Come on, he's not going to just sit in the back.
Yeah.
And at least, unless he's a complete beta or he's being your wingman for the night. If we have that understanding, and this is the thing that I do have with my friends, some of them, is that we have wingman scenarios where, like, okay, dude, you're gonna go into this situation, you want to get this girl, I'll wing you and I'll just make you look great. And my friends have made me look amazing. I mean, a friend of mine went into and started talking to two girls just to bring them over for me. That's what he did. It was, I
Oh,
mean, I've got some of the most
good
amazing
friends.
friends. Yeah, yeah, then they're great wingmen. But also, I'll do the same for them. He's like, dude, okay, you go in there, you start cracking some jokes, make it funny, talk about how great I am, and then within a 5 minute or 6 minute period, I'll come in, and you introduce me, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
we do for each other. But even on that level, even we're that cohesive, and we understand each other, we still have a sense of competition amongst us. We still have this, like, I got two numbers, you got one.
Yeah, yeah.
We still rib each other about that shit. So it doesn't matter how much of a you know cohesive unit you are. Men, just naturally, we have competitive nature about us. We
Mm-hmm.
you put me on a football pitch, I can't run for more than 2 minutes before having a heart attack and die. But in that 2 minutes, I will fucking make it happen.
Yeah.
After the 2 minutes, I may be clutching my chest and require an ambulance. But in that 2 minutes,
You're
I'm
gonna try
rocking
your
your world.
hardest. Can
Yeah.
I just take a quick break and use the ladies' room? And
Oh,
would you
sure.
mind just
No, sure, sure,
yapping
sure, sure.
away?
Don't worry. I'll keep these guys busy.
I love it.
Unless you
Okay.
want to end it. I don't know how long has it been.
Well, it's been an hour and a half. If you would like to end it, it's really up to your schedule because I'm
Oh
all
no, no,
right right
I'm
now.
free. I'm good. It's coming up to 7:45. I mean, go take a break. Come back,
Yeah,
and
maybe
then
we
if
can
you
do like
feel,
another like up to a half an hour, or
yeah, yeah,
up to 8 or something if you want to do that.
yeah, 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 half
Okay.
an hour sounds like a plan. So go do your thing. I'll keep these chaps entertained.
Sweet. Thank you.
Actually, Amy, she's gone. All right, boys and girls, here we are with the Banksy style show. Uh, Amy is taking a few minutes for a little pee pee break. Hey, what's up, Hassan? Okay, guys and girls, this broadcast is brought to you by Amy K's PayPal. Let's see if I can actually put a PayPal in the link. We're gonna use this in order to shill. Yes, we are. We're gonna shill. This is the commercial break. Go to Amy K's. Oh no, that's not it. That's not it. Don't go there. Uh, hold on. This was a mistake. That was not the link. Why is this link not working? She's having a. Oh, for crying out loud! What the hell is going on here? All I want is Amy K's bloody. Let me see. Let me see. Here we go. Amy K's PayPal. You can PayPal Amy K at Amy K at PayPal. Also, Amy K has a merch store. I don't know where it is because I can't actually see it. Because she has not bothered to put it in her video tag, but I'm sure you can find it somewhere. So go find Amy K's merch store on Spreadshirts. So that's it. Uh, All right, Hass. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well, Chris. You think she's having a poo? I don't think young ladies have poos. Good looking women do not poo. They literally have no reason to do such a thing. You can never imagine a good looking woman ever doing anything like that. Women do not do things like that. There you go. Amy K's Patreon. It just popped up on Streamlabs. Go to Amy K's Patreon and put all your money in Amy K's Patreon because Amy K's Patreon is the place to be. If you're not a patron of Amy K, I don't know what you're doing with your life. What are you doing? Like paying rent, paying for food? What kind of ridiculous shit is that? Go to Amy K's Patreon and become a fully fledged patron today. And if you do, you might get naked photos of me. That's right. That's right. You can get to see all of this. All of this
You're
at
hilarious,
Amy K's
Banksy.
Patreon. Sorry. Are you
You're
back?
so funny. I have returned. I see that Chris said I'm taking a poo, and that's just really fucking weird, dude.
I said she does not do poo. The ladies don't poo.
No.
They keep it in for all time. It's backed up there for 30
I
odd
gotta be
years.
honest, like, it's such a weird thing as an adult and like being so grossed out by the idea of talking about poo. Like, I know you boys do it and stuff, but like, I'd like to, I'm already very liberal in the way that I speak about things. I'm totally comfortable with the fact that it's immature to be disgusted about talking about the details of your excrement. Okay, that you only do that
Yeah.
with a doctor. I still want to be somewhat pretty and girly. And
There
pretty
you go.
girls, I don't think pretty girls talk about poo.
They
That's
don't,
a
and
theory in my head anyway. I mean,
nobody needs
I
to
know it
know.
exists. If people are gonna like talk about it, it doesn't make me uncomfortable. But if you expect me to talk about it at the same level, I'm like, I can't do
That's right.
this.
No,
I gotta go. Like, my anxiety is high now. Like, just leave me alone. Because
it's
because what happens if you're around poo is like dysentery. Remember back in the day? Remember back in the day when we weren't alive and people would just like shit in the streets, which by the way, my people get made fun of for. And I just actually find that gross. Like it's just really
She used to
disgusting.
even throw it out on the street from a second level building. They
That's
used to
some
just
goddamn
chuck
monkey
it out
shit.
into the fucking road.
That's some goddamn monkey shit. You can't have that happening. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, yeah, that
You know
shit
when
used
we
to happen.
weren't evolved? That's what we used to do. However, we just do it on the internet now.
Yep.
we just do it in a different way.
We just just chucking it all at the
Isn't it just
at the net.
amazing how much we separate ourselves from nature and like we just fail to see in front of our faces our own behavior and the way that we fucking behave, like treat people and literally, not literally, actually, I did the thing that Chris hates where I said literally incorrectly, where you are throwing shit at somebody else in the form of words. It's verbal diarrhea.
Exactly.
Right? Why
Exactly.
would you want to shit on someone when you could jizz on someone instead? That's what happens when you're having a conversation. You're masturbating together mentally. That's a way better exercise than
Um,
shitting on each other mentally, which is what people
that
do.
I suppose both of them makes me feel uncomfortable right now, but
Well,
I suppose masturbating with each other is better than chucking shit at each other.
exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying.
On that scale, I'll go with the former first. I'll go with column A, please.
Right? So that's your hobbies right there is you you are an
Masturbating.
IT guy. Yeah, basically.
That was well, this is the part of the hobby that I have not mentioned, but
You don't
it
have to,
does
by the way. I
consume
don't want you to feel like
a
you
amount
have
of
to.
time.
Masturbating?
Yeah, there is a large portion of the day that's devoted to that. Surprisingly, it takes more time than you think. Most people think it's a quick thing. I
Whatever
mean,
is going to keep you off the streets from raping people.
well, the thing is, you see, for the most average guy, I don't know. I'm just here, just guessing. But they probably have just like they turn on their computer, a quick dabble on Pornhub, and then they crack one off. But you see, most sophisticated people, as you get older,
Oh, you're
you
you're a
like
sophisticated masturbator, are you?
right. That's right. Once you reach a certain echelons of masturbatory level of literally a master baiter.
Oh my god, dad. Hit me with the dad jokes.
Once you reach that, you you require scented candles, some
Oh, look at you.
aromatherapy,
Classy.
maybe a warm bath.
How about
Where
your cotton your sheets better be Egyptian cotton or get the fuck
oh,
out.
absolutely 200 thread Egyptian cotton. I would not think of anything less. Although you know. Afterwards, you may have to run a black light over your sheets just to make sure that you're not sleeping in something. But
Is that a fidget
other than
spinner I see in your hand right now?
that, yeah.
Yeah. So are you like so I associate, which is why it's called a fidget spinner, for people who are fidgety. Do you find that you're fidgety? You always have to be doing.
Constantly,
Yeah.
constantly. If I'm not playing with this fidget spinner on my show, I'm playing with this Starbucks straw for some unknown reason. I'm just fucking with this thing.
Interesting.
This is one of these straws that you get, these extendable straws
Hmm.
from Starbucks, little instant iced coffee things that they give that you can buy, and I'm just constantly playing with this one, like totally. And yeah, fidget spinner or anything else, because I don't know, I guess I
Do you
need
have
to be
anxiety?
I'm not sure. I don't feel I don't feel anxious, but I just have to have something in my hand to just because I bite my nails if I don't,
So that
and so maybe
means
that
you have
so
excess energy that's coming from somewhere and you're doing physical actions to expel that energy, but it's coming from
yes,
somewhere. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying you're anxious. I'm just asking you if you feel that way because you certainly don't
maybe.
strike me as that. I would be
Mm,
more able to tell if we actually met in person because then I could see, like, oh, are you
yeah,
shaking or are you like, what's your posture like? Like, I can see all those things and kind of be like, you sure you're
that could be
okay?
it. That could be. I mean, it's. I don't know. I don't know. I guess if I'm sitting at a computer, this keeps me just keeps my hands. Otherwise, I'm usually either typing away, or I've got some other thing. If I'm running my own show, I usually am doing 10 other things. I'm controlling the chat, and I'm uploading the next video that I'm planning to show or something, so that I'm busy. But when I'm just sitting and chilling and just having a chat with you, and you're doing all the work because this is your thing, my hands, I guess, I lose. I need to some way keep my. I think you're right. It's a mental thing. My mind is already. It's not calm. It's
It's
not
like you're always playing
level.
chess in your head. Like there's always something your brain is calculating,
Yeah,
right? Always
my brain,
calculating.
yeah, it's
So you
messing
have
around.
nothing you have nothing to calculate right now. So
No, because
it's
all I have to do is occasionally watch like a few messages, maybe pop up on the chat, but generally I am working on. What it is, because here right now at the minimum I have three screens. I have my phone, and I have two screens in front of me
that's
with different things
crazy.
happening. So at all times, I have a minimum of 2 to 3 screens, and what I have to do every so often is literally switch off of everything, and that allows me the gap and the space to calm down a little bit. When I don't switch off, and I think this is probably, it might be other people might experience this, uh, it's constantly on. I'm either moving from my phone screen to my laptop to my computer screen to the TV screen to some screen. It's always screen, 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 and there's multiple things playing at all times. And I think you get a little bit ADD,
A
and
little
you
bit.
a lot
So like
ADD.
it's interesting because every time I talk to somebody there's just some sort of comparison happening. Like what is my situation relative to this person, right? Like my hands are
Mm.
like fucking I have my
There you
hands
go.
like down here. I'm just feeling pretty calm and
Mm.
I don't do that, but I have habits that I need to do. Like I have an oral fixation. It's I love to smoke for that reason, you know what I mean? So
Um,
like there's always a thing.
and
I'm not
stream.
very like shaky or anything like that, but like I definitely feel like I always need to be doing something. But I'm getting better at when I'm doing that thing, I can focus on doing that thing. And it started because like 6 months ago, when my phone battery started getting really shit, I started paying less and less attention to the phone, which like freed up a lot of mental space to actually focus on things that I'm doing without being distracted by the fact that my phone has no notifications, but I need to check anyway. It's like just
Uh,
this is again, it's just a habitual thing that you get into. I don't like being so attached to my phone. It's helped so much. Like I can sit and do things for an hour and not be like, oh, I gotta check my phone, screen,
mm,
like
this is
you,
it.
what
This is
you
it.
sound
Yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it. This is what I mean. That's what I'm saying. I have to. If I'm constantly on one of these devices, and I haven't given myself a 24-hour period of just cut out everything, or not even 24 hours, just 2 3 hours. Put the phone
you
on
need a
silent.
moratorium.
Put the phone on silent. Cut everything out. Just lie on your back and look at the ceiling for an hour or two. Anything, it will bring you down. But this morning, from the time I've been up until I came on this show,
Hmm.
I went out. I had some things I had to do, some sort of things to take care of. I didn't get up early enough to be able to go down to Speaker's Corner because Raj wanted me to go there with him, so I missed that out. Did the things I needed to do, did some shopping, came home, quickly cooked something to eat before the show starts because I didn't want to be all like hungry and stuff.
Hmm.
And so it was like bam, 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 did, run around, and then here we are. I'm sitting out and the show, and I'm still on that up. I didn't have a chance to kind of calm down and just chill. I was still on that upper thing. But also I like being on the upper thing, especially when I'm doing a show, because I want that high energy. I want to
Yeah, of
be on that high
course.
energy. I don't want to be low energy and just sort of come in at this sort of boring
I don't think that would happen with us though. I think we always have
yeah,
good conversations. See, this is the thing is if you're going to have two engaging people together, it's just going to be higher energy than most conversations. Plus, we don't
yeah,
talk all the time, so we generally have things that have accumulated that we can talk about. We can talk about anything. I don't
yeah.
there's no like structure here and it just seems to work out fine. So that's why 2 hours can go by and you don't feel like 2 hours has gone by is
I
because
know.
it's just a nice
It's not enough.
time. This is
I
how
didn't notice.
conversation should be, though. This is like an ideal conversation where you're just like exchanging ideas and thoughts and whatever. Nobody's
Well, I mean,
aggro. I mean, I've said some things that may have made you uncomfortable just because I'm like, do you have anxiety? Like, because I'm more curious. Because I'm more curious more than I am accusatory. And I just want to make that clear. You know that.
oh, yeah,
You know about your disposition better than me. I can only see what I'm seeing, in this video
through my
call. But yeah, but I
yeah,
don't get to see anything outside of that. So I have to consult you about your knowledge about yourself in order to get a clearer picture and not make
of course.
assumptions about you, right? So,
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to ask you about because I noticed you had, I think, Kurt Cobain as your profile photo for a while on your Instagram, and you seem to be a big Nirvana fan. When did you get
this
into
is like
Nirvana? Because I
recent.
thought Nirvana was before your time.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
way before. So I've actually started doing deep dives into bands, like where I'm listening to their entire discography and kind of like reading about them and doing actual research
oh,
because I find these people inspiring and I kind of want to have that energy. So the way to kind of figure out what it is that these people do so I can learn from them because they know what the fuck they're doing clearly is by watching them, right? And like seeing what they say and seeing what kind of attitude they have and seeing what they do when they like show them playing their instrument or whatever it is. And there's also like these people have really compelling stories, right? The Kurt Cobain suicide story is just
mm,
such an insane story. The Nirvana story is insane too because they were so nothing for so long and then they really hit it big and then they were like the biggest thing ever for 2 years and then
mm,
Kurt Cobain died and it was just like all this tragedy and drama. I like that shit too. It's fun to watch on the outside, you know what I mean? When it's not my drama or drama I'm involved in, it can be incredibly interesting. And it's a real life story too, which I really like. This whole weird
yeah,
fucking situation that happened. It's in real life. Like there are still people who are like, Seattle PD needs to open up this case and like re-examine the evidence and blah 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 blah. And I'm like, whatever.
yeah.
But
Did
I
you
just
in your research? Sorry to interrupt. Did you ever come across Soundgarden in your during your research
um
of Nirvana?
that's
Because a
on
lot
my
of people say,
list because they're from
all
Seattle
right,
as well. A lot of those
yeah,
bands came out of that particular
yeah,
area.
a lot of people say that Nirvana actually took their sound and their sort of feel for the way they make their music from Soundgarden, and so there's a little bit of a like a contradict, I don't know, contention of Soundgarden fans and Nirvana fans because I saw Soundgarden in London in about 2000 and I think it was 14 or something in that region. Some there's this event that they were doing party in the park, and I saw Soundgarden, I saw Black Sabbath,
Oh, cool.
Motorhead. Yeah, there's a really good day. And my friend who's a Soundgarden fan, that's what he was on. Like, oh, Nirvana got everything from Soundgarden. That's where they got all their sort of sound and the way they played their music and stuff. And admittedly, if you listen to them, you will see the similarities. You will
Yeah, but you know
definitely
what?
see this.
There's definitely like I notice when I when I listen, like I've been listening to a lot of music lately, you start to notice similarities across genres, across artists, like because you're gonna be inspired by people that you like, right? So
Exactly.
I don't consider that like a stealing thing. I think it's kind of a nice thing when someone kind of tries to imitate an idea because obviously that's a compliment. They like that idea. So whether it comes to them organically like because they've heard it before and they want to combine it in another way or whatever it is, like there's still going to be something else that's brought to the that part of whatever they took that's going to be different, right?
Yeah.
I consider it inspiration, and it's really difficult to like when you listen to a lot of, say, if I listen to a lot of, I don't know, if I'm listening to a lot of Nirvana right now, I might produce something, even if it's like a three-strum thing that sounds very Nirvana like because I've been listening
Oh,
to Nirvana, so that's where my brain's at, right? Like it's just in a
right.
zone. So it's not even
Yeah.
always a conscious thing.
Well, people think that like creative people, musicians and song makers, like as if they just make everything out of a vacuum. Like
Mm,
they just come out of a cave and then they just sort of written all these music. No, they're living in the real world. They're interacting. They're listening to other musicians and other artists. Of course, their music is going to be influenced
yeah.
by whatever it is that they're into. And so to think that musicians have to make something in a complete vacuum, like if it has the remotest note of someone else's
But
music.
Banksy, this is ideas, period. It's not just music, it's across the board. Like, ideas themselves are recycled over and over again. Life is a cyclical thing. Like, it's very difficult to say like I had this original idea. I mean, maybe you had a combination of ideas that was original,
Yeah,
maybe, but like remember how many people there are on the planet. Remember how many like possibilities there are for combinations, and remember that human brains are kind of similar, right? So if they come up with the same ideas being on the same cyclical patterns of the universe, it's not that much of a fucking shock. Everybody
I
just wants
know.
to claim the thing and be like, "Oh, it's mine. I made it. I made it. I made it." And it's
Well,
like,
this is what I mean.
"All
Yeah,
right.
people think that every idea has to come completely out of like thin air, and it has to be a total. I mean, like you said, you like comedy, and I know I'm segueing a little bit here, but you know the whole scandal with Amy Schumer and joke stealing, and
Yeah,
so there are things that you can blatantly steal from other people, which is a bit shameless,
yeah,
and
verbatim shit, duh, right?" But
yeah,
like, there's probably going to be 20 or 30 comedians in the whole fucking community of comedians that's going to make a joke about the same premise. And
yeah,
again, it's the same premises recycled again and again. They're just approached differently with different analogies or different imagery. And like
yeah.
that imagery is like the combination of imagery is uniquely that comedian's, but the premise is not owned by the goddamn comedian. Like that's all you're watching. You like this person's style of this or this person's style of this, but it's the same fucking thing happening again and again.
The funny thing is, uh, with the joke thing, because I was talking to my brother and he was talking about when his son was born and all the just like the reason, because I was saying to him, why don't you have another kid? He's only got one. So
Mm-hmm.
why don't you have another kid? Your son, he'll have a brother or a sister. It'll be really good. And he went on a massive, I guess he had it on his chest for a while, and he just went on this massive rant about the reasons why he doesn't want to have another child.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious. It was brilliant. I said, dude, we gotta have to remember this or write it down and make a sketch about it because this is like amazing stuff. But the funny thing is, most of the stuff that he was saying when I was listening, because I re-listened to sorry, when I watched that documentary about Robin Williams, I remembered this show Robin Williams did at the Metro. It's called the New York Met, and he talked about his when he had a kid, almost identical same things that my brother was saying about
Mm-hmm.
the experiences that he had with his son, and it's like the premise is there. He's already like, I can't do a sketch because people are going to go, oh, you just copied Robin Williams, because raising a child, parents have experienced almost identical things with the kids
Yeah.
all the time, and it's the same shit, the same night feeding and the getting up in the morning and being tired and not sleeping and all of that shit is
Yes.
across the board. Every parent has experienced that. So it's not necessarily that my brother was doing a Robin Williams act. He was just telling me about how god awful it was those first few months with,
Yeah.
with when the son was born, and how much shit he had to go through. But it was just happened to be Robin Williams's experience as well, and Robin Williams just simply put it in a script and told it on stage. And that's what it is. But yeah, it's really difficult, I think, in this day and age. This is why they say, to invent something new, it's virtually impossible these days. It's unbelievably difficult to come up with something that no one else has done,
Mm-hmm.
unless you're looking at technology which is beyond anything anyone has like thought of. Like, for example, super advanced AI that has human level intelligence. That would be something that is on the frontiers of innovation as far as computers are concerned. Or holographic imagery,
Mm-hmm.
which you can then have your phone, instead of you have. I mean, for me, the idea that I've had, and by the way, this is still not new. I saw this in a sci-fi film,
Yeah.
a sci-fi TV show years ago, where you don't have a phone, you don't have any of this nonsense. You have a credit card basically, and your credit card projects an assistant. The assistant is a holographic 3D image
Ooh.
that just appears in front of you, and you just ask it what you want it to do. You want to make a call, you make a call. You want it to, and then you can have. I mean, I was expanding on that. It wasn't in the show, but the holographic assistant, Sarah, whatever, she helps you with whatever messages you want. You want to take a call, Sarah, or set an alarm, find this for me. And then you could also have a holographic 3D cube that appears in front of you, and each side of the cube, this is what I would do, is I would have the different iOSs of different operating systems. So this one side is got Windows, you flip it, and it's got Mac, you flip it, it's got iOS, you flip it, it's got Android, whatever operating system you want to work with, you can have it on each side of the cube. It's a 3D solid, or you can change the opacity so it's see-through, or whatever scenario you want. Basically, the thing is, they kind of did that with Iron Man. If you look at Iron Man, they did it with wireframe Iron Man sort of stuff. So the concepts are out there. It's just now I think someone has to realize it. I think the next phase in like computer technology might be folding devices. So you're folding.
Samsung has that freaking phone, doesn't it? That's like
screen, exactly.
Yeah, and it's like folding glass too. It's all glass and shit, right?
Yeah, it's I don't think it's a glass. I think it's
it's some weird sort of composite material.
Yeah, composite sort of material, but it does bend. At the moment, it doesn't fold in the sense like this folding like proper crease.
Yes.
It doesn't fold in that, it bends. But nevertheless, that's the next step, which we'll have folding phones and folding devices. So that's definitely coming. But for me, I think we're dealing with solid devices. We know if we can do holographic projection on a level in which it is absolutely usable, and it doesn't have this this sort of limitations of, because the thing is, the stuff I saw with like Iron Man, for example, the Iron Man stuff is all see-through. Now imagine on a train or a bus or something, it's going to look really awkward to try and do that. And it's you need it to be more solid, so you don't have to see the people behind it. It's not this see-through concept. So to have it solid would be something. But I think actually the next level might not even be that. It might be augmented reality through your glasses. So you put on a pair of glasses, and the images that you see in front of you is augmented reality. You already have augmented reality technology anyway.
Right.
All you do is you put on a pair of glasses, and it's in front of you, and you can do the things you want to do, but it doesn't show to anyone else. Everyone else on the bus or the train or whatever, they're not seeing what you're seeing.
Right.
They just see you moving your hands like a crazy person. So you're just like I'm miming. Like, what the hell is he up to? So yeah, you just do it that way. And I think that
unless something like imagine if you were wearing the glasses and like the movement of your eyes is what actually controlled what you were seeing.
Yeah.
So if you had a screen projected, instead of having this bibbity bobbity boo, you could just have it follow your retina, and like when you want to click something, you like blink once, and when you want to unclick, you double. Like shit like that.
Or when you look at something and you focus, you hold it, that thing then becomes big and it becomes the full screen. And then if you want it to go back to being a small screen, you just sort of swipe your head, or you look to the left or whatever, and the thing shifts back to the left. Just like the way we move our screens on our monitors right now, you can go with the mouse and click it and resize the screen, or the windows or whatever. You do that with your eye movement. And actually I think that is already in play, because people are doing this for motorcycle helmets, where you have your you have various different information appear on your visor, and you can't just take your hands off and start doing things on your motorcycle. Then you can with your eye movement.
Yeah.
So it has those abilities. So it is happening. The whole Iron Man mask, when he's in his suit and he can see all these little things, images of things popping up. It's coming, and I think that will be the next phase. I think that is probably the next phase of technology. Instead of having phones in your hand, instead of having...
I'm still having a hard time with like Apple Pay and stuff. I still use my goddamn card. Like, it just makes me nervous. I don't know why. It's kind of stupid. I have it loaded on my phone now, so it doesn't even make sense.
How do you mean? As in, I see you paying with your phone.
Yeah, basically you can scan your phone on the scanners now, and it'll read the debit card.
Yeah, I know. I use debit cards all the time. There's no way. I just got used to not worrying about contactless, let alone I was paranoid about contactless. uh, let alone having phones. I no, I don't trust because it's not that I don't trust them. I don't want Google effectively or Apple to have a credit card information of mine. I haven't given it to them in any other aspect. I have given Amazon one of my cards, uh, but I haven't given Google. I mean, I suppose if I've given it to Amazon and I use Google Chrome, I've kind of given it to Google
I mean, I've
because
already given it to Google because I use Google Pay. When I had my
yeah,
Android, right? I used Google Pay to buy
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
It's just honestly, it's really convenient. I don't mind. I don't mind using that stuff.
Have
I
you ever
like the
thought about
convenience of it.
Yeah, have you ever thought about this? Because this occurred to me a little while back, where I have a Google Chrome Cast,
I
so
have
it's
one of
plugged.
those too.
Yeah, it's plugged into my TV. Now there is an account, the Google account, which isn't anything to do with my YouTube accounts. Thank goodness, it's a totally separate Google account,
Oh, okay.
which I use for my Chromecast and
Your
stuff like
private
that.
stuff.
Yeah, private stuff and emails and stuff. Um, and I realized I thought about it and I thought a lot of people don't have many Google accounts. They have like one or two Google accounts where they have, they post all their shit talking on YouTube with the same account and they do everything with that same account. Now imagine you've got your Google Pay, you've got your maybe Google Car, you've got your Chromecast on your telephone, you've got your Google, I don't know, Android fridge. All of these are connected to this one account. You then go and shitpost someone, and then Google bans you. All your devices get disabled.
Bro, that's why you gotta fucking like learn to be a decent human being if you want to live in a civilization. Like, it's not, oh my god, how dare Google figures out my fucking habits. Yeah, it's actually you that has a problem with that. You don't want Google to be like, hey, you traveled to McDonald's 16 times today. Would you like to save this location as a favorite, you fucking fat shit? Would you like to? Because you've gone 16 times in the last 14 days, and the math doesn't quite work out there.
Yeah, but I mean, come on,
And then
come
as a
on.
person, you have to be like, are you fucking kidding me? I had McDonald's 16 times in 14 days. Maybe I should change my fucking life.
Actually,
Like,
Uber tells me that. Uber tells me that a lot. I've looked and ever since I started this new diet of starving one day or fasting one day and eating the next, I've stopped ordering from
yeah, it's the
uh,
best because it costs a lot, those
Uber.
delivery fees.
Well, yeah, not only the fact that it costs a lot, it's the fact that I on the days I can eat, I can order burgers, I can eat all sorts of crap, but I feel that I've got so because I make a lot of food ready to go because on the days I have to fast, I can only have one meal and it has to be a specific type of food with amount of calories that I don't go over. So I have to pre-think all of that. I have to think about those days. I have to
Yeah,
pre-prepare some food. But then the days I can eat, I already have prepared items. So I just bam, 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 cook
that's
it
what
and
I
eat it.
do. Every
And
Sunday, I pre-cook my meals for the week. So it's
mm,
always chicken breast and broccoli. That's my
oh,
lunch.
look,
Every fucking day. That's the one thing I can offload from my brain and I have extra space to think about other things because my food is set,
it's done.
right? It prevents me from making purchases I don't need to make. And then when I go out with my friends on the weekends, I don't feel guilty because I've been eating shit all week or like spending that
Yes.
money. I can actually enjoy a good, fatty, greasy meal, no guilt. Yeah,
Yeah.
right? Like it is
Mm.
expensive. So
I think so. I think that's the other
my
part to
girlfriend was
it.
telling me yesterday because I visited her. We were at a restaurant yesterday called the Eatery. It's like the best sushi place in Vancouver, hands down,
Nice.
always. And like, um, her phone had told her like 6 years ago, yesterday exactly was the last time we were together at that restaurant. So it was cool. We hadn't seen
Oh.
each other for a while. And she was telling me, she's like, I've spent 2 grand on Uber Eats since March. And I'm like,
Ooh.
that's crazy, girlfriend. She's like, like it gets
Yeah.
convenient, right? Like when you don't feel like cooking and you want to get something, and if you go with the healthy stuff too, it tends to be a little farther away. It's not really, so
Yeah.
you're paying
Oh yeah,
more
the
for the
sushi
delivery.
and the healthier options are generally more expensive anyway.
Yeah.
By the way, I've noticed the companies have higher prices on Uber Eats than they do in the actual store as well. So if you
Yeah.
actually go into the place and buy it, it's actually a cheaper price than the ones on Uber Eats plus the delivery. So first of all, yeah, they're more expensive anyway on Uber Eats as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only company that I've noticed that doesn't seem to bump up its price on Uber is McDonald's. They seem to keep the same. KFC, I know for a fact they've got more expensive items on the app than they do in the store, and
Mm-hmm.
other shops as well. But generally, yeah, it's more expensive on the app. It's you're paying for delivery, and to be honest with you, it's not. I mean, the healthier stuff is healthier, but it's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
really.
yeah. Exactly. You got it.
There isn't anything I've noticed on there that you can truly call healthy. It's
Mm-hmm.
just they are healthy. Like, I don't know, if I order this sushi or udon noodles, it's slightly
Udon
better than if I order a
noodles, so
bucket of
good for
chicken.
you. I love it.
Yes, they are good for you.
I like that shit. I like that Asian food, man. They're really good at food.
I do like yeah, Japanese and Chinese and Thai food as well. I
Pad
really
Thai
like a
is
lot.
just bomb.
Thai,
So
yes.
here's a
Oh,
question for you. If this was your last message that you were leaving on this earth, what would your last message for the day be? Let's leave with some enlightenment.
last message: don't be afraid of losing. Don't be afraid of failing. That's it. That's it. The failing is not a bad thing. You will fail more times than you succeed, but fail you must. You have to fail to learn. There is no education in winning. There is only education in losing. Winning is easy. Winning doesn't teach you anything. Losing is where you get the learning lessons.
But
There's
if
a
you
there's an
work
act.
to win, that you learn things that way too.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, you do, but the struggle, you actually lose, or you stumble as you struggle. That struggle has stumbling blocks in it, and then eventually you will succeed. But I was taught when I was raised as a young age, especially through school and parents, failure is unfathomable. It's the worst possible thing ever. I became scared of failing. So instead of trying, I just wouldn't try, because if you don't try something, you can't fail at it. You can't lose a race if you never take part.
Yeah, yeah.
So my options became, for the longest period of my young life, was, instead of having a go, is not to have a go, because losing was worse than not trying.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and that was actually the crime. That was the problem. That was the worst thing that I was taught as a child, was to fail, to be scared of failure.
Mm-hmm.
If my parents, if my mom, my brother, funny enough, who grew up in the same household, was taught almost the same lessons, he figured it out a lot earlier than me,
Yeah.
that actually, no, sod this lesson. Failing is fine. It's not taking part. It's not trying. That's the crime.
Yeah.
And so he became far more successful, far quicker in his life as a young man than I did. It took me longer to learn, and so it did something which was worse than all of it, which was, it took away time. Time is the one thing you can never get back in this world. You waste your time, like after this 2 hours of conversation, uh, that's it. That 2 hours is gone.
Mm-hmm.
You can never get it back. We can never do the things you wanted to do. That period is gone. Now, don't get me wrong. For me, this is a rich, enriching, and wonderful experience. So
Good.
I feel better. It moves. I feel it moves me forward. But time is something you don't get back.
No.
So if you waste your time worrying about not doing something because you're scared about failing, then yeah, you'll find that, later on in life you realize, oh shit, I should have done this. I should
Right?
have done this 10 years ago.
I don't want that feeling.
Yeah, don't ever find yourself 10 years down the line going, I wish I did this 10 years before, because that's what will happen if you don't do it. If you see some opportunity, if you see a moment in life where you have to seize the moment, carpe diem.
Look at
It
you.
fucking
You are on a tear right now. I love it.
No, but it's
It's
but it's
positive
true.
energy.
Carpe diem is true.
Yeah, yeah.
It
Seize the
took me
day.
a long fucking time in my life to learn this. Learn, if you're a young 20 something and you hear this, listen to a fat, life mostly wasted 40-year-old
Aw.
that tells you that carpe diem actually is a thing.
Hey
It
man,
matters.
but I mean, like, better now than never, right? It's now is
Yeah.
always a good time to recognize you got to change something.
Yes, it is. It is. So yeah, if don't be scared of failure. Failure is embrace it. Take it. Say, yes, I will fall and I will get up and I'll fall again and I'll get up again. The Anthony Robbins said once in one of his talks, he says, if you paralyze yourself by failure, if you were so afraid that your child, after the first time they stood up to walk and they fell and they couldn't walk in that moment, if you took that same attitude as you have in your life where you're afraid of failure, if you took that attitude with your children would never walk.
Yeah.
You don't tell your child when they fall, oh, that's okay, we don't do it again, we're never going to let you, you're never going to try walking again. No, you stand them up and they fall, and if they fall 1,000 times, you stand them up 1,001 time,
Yeah.
because they have to walk. They can't not walk.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you should look at
Yeah, you
life.
don't
If there's
stay down once you're pushed down. You have to get up.
yeah, if you're planning to make something happen in your life, you cannot be afraid of failure. You cannot be paralyzed by failure. Failure is part of it. All the great people, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan says, I missed far more baskets than I ever scored. And people only remember me for those baskets I scored, not for the ones I missed. And
That
I
was
missed
such a good show, by the way, the Netflix show.
Yeah, the Michael Jordan one. Yeah, exactly. Anyone who's achieved anything in life immediately discovered the one rule, which is you fail far more than you succeed.
Mm-hmm.
People only count the hits, they don't count the misses.
Exactly.
They don't count the times you failed. They don't count the times you practiced and fell over and hurt yourself and became demoralized. They only see when you win the gold.
Exactly.
They only, and the other thing as well, you only win gold. No, you don't win silver. You lose gold.
Right.
Don't settle for silver. Be better than silver.
Sometimes you might just be silver worthy, but that's okay too. That's more lessons to learn.
Yeah, but either way, I mean, yeah. Don't be paralyzed and just not do it. But
You know
okay,
what I'm gonna say? What I'm gonna say to end this?
what is your final message?
Stay true to your friends because they'll save you in the end.
That's true.
All right.
That's true.
Don't forget
You're
how important a human connection is. It is everything. You fuckers need to be happier, and that's all I'm saying to you. So thanks for hanging out, and bye.